sales this year due to cost of living being cited by customers. Some say that despite the rising economy, they will celebrate their loved ones, but others say that the priority for them is to get the basic needs for their families and not flowers or Valentine's gifts. Here are some of the views of residents from Uasin Gishu County.
Watu wanalia uchumi ni mbaya sana. Hata saa hii ukiangalia hakuna mtu ambaye ako hapa nauliza maua. Wanalia, wanasema kwamba hata watoto wajaenda shule.
Wanakuja lakini ukiwaambia bei anasema na hiyo uchumi yote, hiyo bei yote. Kuna za tunauza 50 kama hizi live roses 50, kuna za 100, kuna alafu kuna zile ziko na frame, kuna za 350, za 550. Sasa hizo ndio wana complain sana.
Hapa nimekuja kununua maua, nimeona iko mzuri. Kwa hivyo mimi nitanunua hata ikiwa uchumi uko juu, lakini tu nitanunua nifurahie kwa sababu Mungu alituambia tupendane. Napelekea mtoto yangu kwa sababu nampenda kabisa.
Watu wengi wanafikiri maua unampelekea tu mpenzi wako pekee.
Si lazima upende au upatie mpenzi wako. Yoyote tu napenda, hata mama mkongwe, hata nani.
Sasa unajua sisi kama mimi aswa mwenye sina mrembo, nimetulia tu. Mimi sasa nikubeba wenye wanapendana na wapenda nao. Kwa bodaboda yangu hapa tu nimetulia.
Watu wapendane, wenye wanabaiana maua baiane. Sana upande wa maua unabaingi, ukienda naye kwa nyumba unapea mwenye maua, hiyo mambo inaishia hapo. Juu niko job na chenye na bai ndaenda kumfurahisha mwenzangu. Hata kama gharama iko juu, mapenzi huwezi linganisha na gharama. Lazima ubaie mpenzi wako kitu umpelekee. Ridhiki aje ako na mwanaume.
Mambo ni mbaya, mambo imesimama huko, hakuna kakitu.
Sasa maua hivi ubeti home
kidogo tu, niambie tu anapendwa itoshe.
Hata kwa kichwa yangu hayuko kabisa. Hakuna kabisa maneno kama Valentine kwa kichwa yangu. Juu saa hizi ukijaribu kuangalia mambo imechemuka. Mimi bora amevaa nguo na bora amekula. Hiyo story tushafunga.
And yes, indeed, today is Valentine's Day, and SpiceFM will be bringing you elegance in love at the Sorry to your city today. Be sure to bring your loved one. We shall be there to celebrate love, and those that we love us will be part of the family tonight at the site. Now, Azimio leader Raila Odinga now says that the coalition will be democratic in arriving at its flag bearer in the 2027 general election. Speaking in Mombasa, Raila said that Azimio does not have a candidate who must be on the coalition's flag bearer, and that it must not be him nor Kalonzo Musyoka, but that the candidate chosen by the delegates will be the one they will support.
Kama ni Hassan Joho ndiye amekuwa nominated, nitamuunga mkono. Juu nilimwambia Kalonzo, mimi naweza kuunga wewe mkono. Kama wewe ndio watu wasema wewe unatosha, mimi nitaunga wewe mkono. Wakisema baba endelee, si baba ataendelea. Si baba ataendelea. Hiyo ndio demokrasia. Mama Eda kama wanasema baba sasa amechoka, waweza kuendelea mbele sisi.
Raila's statement comes at a time when there have been allegations that Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka and his DAP-K counterpart Eugene Wamalwa are angling themselves to be on the ballot. This as ODM Deputy Leader Ali Hassan Joho, who has been absent from many ODM meetings, has announced that he will be on the ballot come 2027.
Ninasikia wengi wanasema tuko kwa debe 2027, tuko kwa debe. Mimi nawaambia hapa mchana, hata mimi Hassan Ali Joho 2027 niko katika debe la rais la Kenya. Na waelewa hiyo, kama ni mbaya baya, na kama ni noma, kama ni mbaya.
Meanwhile, Kalonzo Musyoka is on a charm offensive tour of the Mount Kenya region.
2027 wangapi wanasema tuende mpaka kwa debe? Wangapi? Nataka leo. Because lazima nilete hii kitu nyumbani. Si ni kweli? So the time has come to seme enough is enough. Na kusema, unajua tulikuwa tukisema punda amechoka. Sasa punda waacha kuchoka, ameanguka chini na mzigo.
President William Ruto will also be in Mount Kenya for 3 days beginning today, where he will be launching several projects in the region. We will be following up these for you in subsequent news bulletins. I'm Dennis Aseto. Good morning.
.5 Spice FM, Kisumu.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
It's critical that people pay taxes. But then taxation has to have a limit. When you start overtaxing people beyond certain limit, then this is now we call robbery with violence.
We are all struggling, but we don't show. If you're not doing well, shame on you. But you have to say, I'm broke and I'm struggling. We are not okay until everybody is okay.
We are pretending to have political parties. Why don't we just be honest? And we say, these are the Luyas, these are the Kambas, these are the Kikuyus, and we find ourselves in Kenya.
You know, with politics and leadership, no matter what you do, there will always be a complaint. There will always be the assumption that you're either stealing or you're not doing things right. As a leader, don't fear. If you know you're doing the right thing, you've thought about it, you've got an expert advice, do it, then understand later.
This country, we don't need prayers. Prayers is between you and God. Good governance and thinkers who care about the country and not their stomach.
That's what we need.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Revenge is for children. It's for kids. When you grow up, you realize the best revenge you can take on somebody is to ignore them.
I'm just new in politics. It is not everybody's cup of tea. That's why some people come in one term and that's it for them.
Political parties in this country do not have ideologies, whether luring or otherwise.
And that is the effect of corruption.
Any time an offense occurs anywhere in the country, it is the job of the Inspector General to look into it. Whether it is corruption, whether it is murder, whether it is petty, that is his job.
If we have chosen to be a corrupt nation, then we produce corrupt leaders. Everything then becomes chaotic that you cannot be able to change.
If a lion shows you its teeth, it doesn't mean it likes you.
It doesn't mean it likes you. It wants tax.
A liar calls as witness one who is either dead or far away. Say it in Kiswahili.
Ben low nin inte yenin der ayu markati kadikta. You know this character called liar. He has disturbed people. So when you tell him who are your witnesses, he will take you to a place where it is difficult to verify.
For someone like me who sweats a lot, I cannot survive there. Sweating is biblical. Good. And he must blame it on Adam, not because Adam messed up and he was told, now you fellow you, by the sweat of your brow, thou shalt eat.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
The man who looks at a beautiful girl and doesn't talk to her will end up serving lunch at her wedding.
Aye, City, do like that. My father has killed a mouse. Will he fail to kill a man?
Amewapanya.
Small mammal, big mammal.
Mtu atamshinda.
What are they saying? How are we comparison? I mean, you kill a mouse.
What are they saying? What they're saying is, my father has killed a mouse. Will he fail to kill a man? Name, surprise. Someone's name.
The name surprised you?
No, the name is surprise.
No, what am I saying? I'm from Nigeria, man. I met somebody called I Believe. So
See?
Your name is I Believe? Yes, my name is I Believe. But that's the short form. I said, excuse me? I said, yes, my name is I Believe. So what's the full name? I believe in the goodness of the
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Good morning and welcome to, what is it? It's Wednesday. We're in the middle of the week and we're looking at traffic then coming in from all parts. Not much happening on the roads right about now. As you come off the Thika Superhighway, you'll be fine getting into the CBD. As you're coming from Githurai, that's all right. A little bit here and there on Kambu Road. But, you know, I think we're still early. We're seeing that. We'll probably see pickup of traffic later on. On Jogoo Road, a little bit of it right around the Makadara train station, getting towards Landis. And if you're on Uhuru Highway, you're absolutely fine getting into the CBD. It looks good on the Southern Bypass. This is a day to take a drive and enjoy nature. Let's see what it looks like as it opens up closer to traffic hour. We'll talk on SpiceFM KE on X, hashtag #TheSituationRoom.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
14th day of February, my true love gave to me. Imba.
Huh?
Imba.
100 red roses. Something like that, Abi. Or you don't like them? You don't like that one?
I don't like that one.
Don't like that one? Why not?
Say a VIP dinner ticket to...
In fact, okay, start again. Start again now.
On the 14th day of love.
On the 14th day of Valentine's, my true love gave to me a ticket to the Elegance in Love dinner. Why do I keep wanting to say concert? Hey, the thing no enter.
You're concerting.
I'm concerting. I've decided it's a concert.
Otherwise,
mambo vipi? Kusalama.
Niko poa. Namshukuru Mungu. Mambo iko bambam.
Okay.
Everything
is fine. Are you sure? You're not sure?
What? How does that song go?
Which one?
I think it's a gospel song.
Which one?
That starts with everything, something.
What have you said?
Everything, something. That song.
What are those? Ednah, please help your guy here, man, because I don't know what he's doing.
You don't know that song?
Ednah is the one who can decipher your language this morning. You say everything, then you say What are those? Can't help you.
Okay. Ednah is talking, but she has not pressed that thing. She needs to press to talk to me. Or she has not connected the microphone.
She's not there.
So she's talking, but we can't hear her.
Okay.
You see? Yeah. So I don't know. That song will come. It will come somewhere in the back of my... Yeah.
All these songs popping up on the feed today. I want to know what love is.
Hey.
I want you to show me. Question.
Question na be answer.
Question it go be answer. It go be.
It go be answer.
Yes, so.
Bas. Mzee is not in today.
People said he went for the men's conference.
Yeah, Mzee is addressing the men's conference. He's keynote speaker. He is the keynote speaker at the men's conference. So.
Oh, Ednah's remembered the song. Everything you put your hand, go walk. See? It go be open doors. You self go be a boss. Amen. Amen. Ednah, I told you, Ednah is the one who can understand your language. Ednah is the one who understands. I told you.
What's the song called?
Everything you put your... what's it? Timmy Dakolo sang it. Timmy Dakolo.
Yeah. He sang the song.
Yes, he did.
Okay. Everything you put your hand on?
Go walk.
Go walk.
Yes, as in everything you... It's essentially everything you touch will turn to gold. Yeah.
And?
You self go be a boss. It go be open doors, like all the doors will open for you. I'm sure you understand.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a blessing song.
And the last line? Amen.
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 Even Kojo Ojere knows the song.
Nani?
Opere.
Oh,
Kajuang says, yes, the song is everything.
You put your hand, go.
Everybody could tell what song I'm singing.
Except me, clearly. Yes. Now that I know the song and what you were doing, now I can understand what you were doing.
See what okay. Today is the day of love. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. We love you. We love you very much.
Oh, Eric, that's so heart-moving.
What?
Oh, wow.
And so for this day, we are organizing flowers. We have organized that the CEO of the Kenya Flower Council comes and joins us at 7 a.m.
Fantastic.
Na kama Clement Tulezi ya kuji na maua, ajue amechoma hii picha. Ajue atakuwa amechoma hii picha kabisa. In fact, Ednah, just remind him. I know he's on his way already, but let him organize.
You should come with the tools of trade.
We'll be talking about Kenya's flower production potential. Recently, they've been complaining and they're saying, pana, we are not being supported as we should. Oh, yeah, and all those things. Okay. Yeah, he'll come and tell us about that. And then at 8 a.m., we'll be joined by Josephine Anan Ankoma. She is the regional executive. CESA means what? Central, East, and Southern Africa.
Yes.
Right?
Central, East, and Southern Africa, yes.
Should be, right?
Should be.
Central, East, and Southern Africa. And MD at EcoBank Kenya, she joins us at 8 o'clock to talk about a better Africa with EcoBank and how it empowers us for a better future. So we'll get to understand everything that we'll be talking about EcoBank the last couple of days. At 9 a.m., Frederick Okango is the Secretary of Political Affairs in KANU. KANU is that political party. Red flags in the use of national funds. Does the opposition have a voice? He will bring his voice at 9 a.m. Hiyo ndio conversation ya
leo.
Siku hii ya leo. At 17 minutes after 6, let's take a break. Say hello. Say happy Valentine's Day to everybody else who's listening in, wherever they are. And let's appreciate them. Tell us about the weather forecast today. It's going to be raining flowers.
Well, let's see.
Okay. Petals and stalks. Plus the roses and their thorns.
Wow.
This is the Situation Room. The only way to start your day. The weather with
clear skies this morning in Nairobi. It's 17 and we'll see highs of 27 and lows of 16. Partly cloudy at 14 in Nakuru with highs of 29 and we'll see highs of 27 in a partly cloudy Nyeri at 15. Eldoret is clear at 14, highs of 26 and we'll see lows of 14. While into Mombasa it's mostly cloudy at 26. We'll go to highs of 33. Malindi is partly cloudy at 27. We'll see highs of 32. While Kisumu clear at 21. We'll go to highs of 30. It's 18 and mostly clear in Kakamega, highs of 32. Looking into a mostly cloudy Kampala, 20, highs of 28, and we'll see highs of 32 in a mostly clear Dar es Salaam at 27. Into Johannesburg, it's clear at 17, highs of 30, while Mogadishu is partly sunny already at 25. We'll see highs of 32. And at 14, it's mostly cloudy in Addis Ababa with highs of 22 and lows of 13. Lagos is mostly clear at 28, highs of 34, while Kinshasa is cloudy at 22. It'll go to highs of 32. China, in Beijing specifically, mostly cloudy at 11 with highs of just that and lows of -1. It's 10 degrees and mostly cloudy in Paris with highs of 15, while London will see highs of 14. It's mostly cloudy currently at 12. Evening Tuesday in New York, 1 degree. Coming into Wednesday, highs of 6 and lows of -2.
mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Wako wengi sana leo asubuhi nakwambia. Don Sabwa, how are you? 2,000 plus one, he says. Cases of fake academic papers. Good morning. Is that day Valentine? Well, that's a good question. Abuto Kamla says, good morning to Eric. CT's not here, but yes, good morning to you as well as Ednah. Do you think the shilling will sustain its current trajectory? Anyway, burgundy and gold is finally here. Yes, it is. Sabit Yusuf says, good morning. Good morning to Ednah, Yego Ndu, CT, Eric, locked in from Dubai, wishing everybody a great day ahead. The Gikombe is in Singapore today, benchmarking love. Okay. Love is that gas in your body that if you have to force it out, it's probably solid. I take it. What? Okay, let's go with that. Des Otis, I'm going to call you Des. Is that okay? Says, hello. Hope both of you had a lovely night and tight sleep. I don't know what that is, but all right. Kenyans with fake academic papers, Kitawaramba. Ndu, on this day, what do you tell single men like me?
What do you tell single men?
I doubt.
It's only 3,500.
Everything you put your hand, go work. Chris Adede says, good morning. From Utawala, happy Valentine's Day. Leo ni siku ya kupendan. Leo ni siku ya wapendanao. Okay. Richard Macchiari is tuning from the US of A. Jacinta Wamboi says, good morning. San Francisco is locked. Happy Valentine's Day, good people. Mambo Anabo says, good morning. Lots of love from Kalomo in Zambia. The Kikombe says, if she were a vegetable, she would be a cute cumber. Where?
Nice one.
Joel Odondi says, good morning to everybody. Kansas is well represented this morning. Watching Kenyan politics, one would be tempted to think that elections were next year, isn't it? Just cash. 2027. We happen to be in 2024, just in case anybody forgot.
That's where the problem is.
This is the issue.
Okay.
Joe Mungai says, good morning. Watching you all. Have a very good day. Despite all the troubles and temptations, it is well. Amen. Robert Tobago is tuning from Mombasa. Monica Oile says, good morning. The snow is back to Ottawa. Hey, yes, I know it's been very, very cold. Yeah, below, I don't know, 40, something ridiculous. You pour water and then it freezes mid-air. Ednah, Monica anakupenda sana. Ongani Malala says, good morning. Josegi is also tuned in. Deep State says, City Muga is at the men's conference. Amalize Araka. Okay, slowly. These things take time, my friend. Frederick Oremo says, good morning. I've always been longing to meet you. Eric, now you.
Longing to meet me?
Yes.
Okay.
Kaiser Obed's Requiem Masses today.
Oh, man.
So we'll be saying goodbye to good friend.
Kaiser, rest in peace.
Yeah. Dr. Van Vick is saying happy Valentine's Day to you. Happy Valentine's Day, my lovelies. Ben is tuned in from Belgut. Chamge, my beautiful people. Happy Valentine's Day from Tranzoia. David Kashangaki is tuned. I'm looking forward to the papers today as well as you fall asleep in South Bend. All right. Rose Grace says, you guys are doing a very good job. Thank you, Rose. That's really great to hear. Mahansam na Warembo. Happy Valentine's. Kajwango Perez here. Meshak Jenga. One mic. My goodness, everybody is in here this morning. Good morning, everybody. Karibuni sana sana.
Everybody, welcome. CT. Yes.
How are you?
Very fine.
Actually, very fine.
I'm actually very well. Yeah, this weather.
It does a thing.
It's a thing. So, the proverbs for this week are from the country of Angola. The man has gone to address the men's conference as the keynote speaker. So, I shall give you the proverb on his behalf. The squirrel does not talk back to the elephant. Has he ever told that proverb from another country? Like from the Nubian Republic of
somewhere?
Yeah.
No.
The squirrel does not talk back to the elephant.
The squirrel doesn't talk back to the elephant lest it be squashed. Abi, mind your manners.
Yeah.
Stick to your lane.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or the squirrel does not engage with stupid people.
I can see that. Wow. I can see that.
Yeah, stupidity, not my thing.
Not today, folks.
I'm not today, Satan. Get behind me.
Get thee behind me.
Headlines?
Headlines on the front page of the Standard this morning. Ruto goes after expensive loans to settle Eurobond. President William Ruto's gamble to raise billions of shillings of new debt from international investors has paid off after the government received bids of 6 billion spread to 2031. However, the new loan comes at a steep price as the country will pay almost double the interest rate it had on the loan it is currently repaying. So that's one to look into. Raila's journey to the AU top job begins with a Mudavadi trip to Addis Ababa. So Mudavadi is going to Addis. It could end up in a job for Raila. Can you see how that happens?
Yeah.
Okay. Teachers' unions, a new battle over TSC. It looks like this battle is going to be long drawn out. So we're not going to stop now. Love is in the air, but at a cost, apparently. The price of flowers may double as harsh economic times push florists to hike prices. A bouquet of flowers, previously selling at 500 shillings is now going for 1,000.
Why?
Because of tough economic times.
What tough economic times?
See, pesa iko nini?
The unga for flowers has gone up. Or what? What are we saying? Is the water more expensive?
The unga for flowers has gone up. Everything is more expensive to transport from point A to point B. Things like that.
Has doubled.
Yeah.
Okay.
Relief as shilling makes a big gain against the dollar. I think we're now looking at 158. Last week we're at 165. No. So in just a week we've seen a double down, almost not a double down, but we've seen major increase or rather decrease. Police in court over sale of exhibit that killed 23 people. You want to know that, don't you? Coach and Kiptum were inseparable. His widow mourns. On the front page of The Nation, ghost workers get away with 35 billion shillings. Wow. As civil servants with fake papers are unmasked. Yes, we saw the story coming out yesterday. A Senate watchdog committee investigating bogus salary payments demanded payroll audits from counties. Some dithered. And for those that appointed task forces, a high court order has outlawed them. With the probe stalled, rogue officials get to keep the loot. Where? IEBC, Kenya Kwanza blackmails Azimio coalition to support housing levy.
IEBC?
Kenya Kwanza blackmails Azimio coalition to support housing levy.
Mnataka IEBC, mutupatie levy.
Ndio, yeah.
That's
mnataka kuchagua nini nyinyi?
Mnataka muweke chipkati wenu hapo. Tupatieni pesa ya nyumba. That's a good one.
They're smart.
Smart.
Not yet off the hook. The Director of Public Prosecutions appeals the acquittal of Maribe in murder trial. Yeah.
Okay.
Not quite out of the woods. Concern over the high cost of health insurance funding is on the back page of The Nation, and consumption of fuel falls to lowest level in 5 years amid high prices. People are not buying fuel.
Wamekataa.
Let me look at the star for you.
Okay.
Let me
do the Business Daily first.
Okay, you do that one first so that you can be correct.
Yeah.
No, wow.
Business Daily. Kenya pays dearly to avoid 316 billion shillings Eurobond default. That's a story in the Business Daily, also the headline in the Standard. Kenya is set to pay dearly to avert a default of the $2 billion Eurobond maturing in June after it settled on a higher rate on its return to the global debt market to finance an early buyback. The nation has offered investors 9.75% on its new 7-year $1.5 billion Eurobond, which is more expensive than what Benin and Cote d'Ivoire got in their bonds issued in the past 3 weeks. The proceeds of Kenya's new Eurobond are meant to buy back part of the 2014 $2 billion Eurobond. That one we had taken at 6.875%. over 10 years. This one now we have taken, and that was $2 billion, 10 years, 6.875%. This one we're going for $1.5 billion, 7 years, 9.75%. Guy. That higher rate on the new bond will see the country incur annual interest of 23 billion shillings. Every year we are paying interest payable in 2 equal installments every 6 months from August this year.
Wow.
Like that.
It's not so funny.
Yeah, the other headline, the puzzle of 12 billion shillings Telcom and bank shares. The government shareholding in Telcom Kenya and two other companies in which the Treasury spent 12.5 billion shillings to acquire additional shares between July 2022 and June last year remained unchanged over that period. We bought shares, they did not reflect in the books. Okay? Telcom 6B by the end of the financial year 2023.
Hey.
The owners of Telcom were still the same owners of the Telcom before the 6 billion shillings was withdrawn.
Okay.
Higher. Africa Export-Import Bank, Afrexim Bank. We had been paying some money to buy shares. At the end of the year, our shareholding unchanged. Money has left the consolidated
But
fund.
there are no more shares.
We have money has left the consolidated fund, has gone to buy shares.
Shares, yes.
Okay? But Kule shares don't reflect.
You're a criminal.
The other one is the Eastern and Southern African Trade and Development Bank, formerly known as PTA Bank. Even that one, we're buying shares. Go to the PTA Bank.
Nada. Onge nothing.
Na pesa imetoka wapi? Consolidated. This Kenya is one giant wash enterprise. Higher. Ticker headlines. State offers 21,000 acres for food drive. Wataka shamba kulima?
Wait. What?
I wait for what?
Offers land where?
The Agriculture and Livestock Ministry has opened up 21,000 acres of idle land belonging to NYS and the Tana and Athi Rivers Development Authority for commercial leases in a bid to boost food security.
Is it not Zambia or Mozambique?
That was Zambia just for one harvest.
Went to look for where to plant maize.
Because, now we discovered, guy, actually, kumbe we can plant that maize in Kenya. So now, what is that man's name? The man in charge of Agriculture Ministry?
Linturi.
That one. Medeka Linturi is saying, come ye.
Either.
Anybody who thinks that they can grow food,
come here.
We have land, 21,000 acres. Please place your bids.
Oh, Lord, shoot me now.
No, you'll die. It's not.
Hey.
No. If I shoot you, you'll die. The government of Kenya seeks interested and qualified commercial agribusinesses and investors with demonstrated is key, technical and financial capacity to undertake farming and agroforestry and other agriculture-related activities on land sites identified under it's called Land Commercialization Initiative. Land is in Samburu and Kiambere. It's held by NYS and Tarda. 20,000 acres. There's the Samburu Kirimun Field Unit held by NYS that's currently dedicated to livestock production, wildlife conservation, and tree plantations. Okay? The government of Kenya aims to select one or multiple private operations who can start agricultural and forestry activities. An additional 1,000 acres held by Tarda near Kiambere Hydropower Dam are also up for leasing. The said that between 96 and 205 run a 350-acre irrigated farming project on the Tarda land in Kiambere, where it produced mangoes, bananas, citrus, tomatoes, onions, and various other crops. However, declining reservoir water levels led to the discontinuation of the project due to prohibitive costs. Sasa mvua imejaa, Kiambere Dam is full, the land is there. Come.
Plants,
weka
harvest,
vitunguu,
sell,
mayai, si mayai, maembe.
Kuja upande mayai.
Higher. The other ticker headline, trade deficit falls by 300 billion shillings as fuel and imports deep. Kenya imports of machinery, fuel and raw materials dropped by double-digit rates last year for the first time since the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic. And then half of livestock feeds in Kenya fail quality tests, warns KEBS. You're giving your chicken feeds you bought somewhere. You're giving your cattle, your sheep, your goat, your
Cow.
pigs feeds. KBS has raised the red flag over the quality of livestock feeds sold in the local market. Flag is up. It's red.
It's flying.
Have the animals been eating these feeds?
Sindio, yes.
Okay.
Iko shida.
The North Rift Regional Manager for KEBS, Vincent Cheruyot, said tests on samples of animal feeds showed that over 50% lacked proper formulation, among other issues. From the tests, we found there is lack of critical ingredients, especially the protein source and minerals needed by livestock farmers. This is a continuous monitoring exercise, and we're engaging them to put in place corrective measures. So you're buying this feed expecting it has protein, so it's going to increase your yield for maziwa. Ngombe nakula maziwa kikombe moja. Hii ngombe nafikiri ule mtu aliniusia mbegu mbaya ya ngombe.
Singejaribu ndo.
Kikombe moja. The star, please.
On the left-hand corner in teal green. Oh, it's right. It's not
the right.
The right-hand
Top
corner.
right.
Top right-hand corner in teal green. I paid over 70,000 shillings fees only for my son to be crushed by a school bus.
Oh, God.
That.
At you over how much?
70,000. School fees.
Was this kid not 3 years old? How old is this kid?
They said they're not primary, grade 1. Grade 1 child.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. That's the fees for the school.
Oh my God.
Only for my son to be crushed by a school bus. Very sad story.
God, yeah.
Single mother is now reeling from the effects. Now the reality of the situation is dawning on her properly.
Oh yeah.
Very sad story here. MPs oppose plot to clip Attorney General's powers. Somebody wanted to clip his powers. Terror suspects found guilty of possessing IED. 2 men have been found guilty of being in possession of an improvised explosive device, including 7 projectile bombs for the purpose of committing a terrorist attack. Allah? Ish. Okay.
Imagine. In Isiolo, they had bombs.
Kwambia, they were ready to do the business.
Ish.
Very sad. Bang in the middle of the paper. Wage bill crisis. Boards demand double salary. Not even 10% increment. Not even 20. Unaona hii pesa ambayo unanipa.
They call it salary.
Kama hiyo juu.
They call it salary.
That's what they call it.
It's that much.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be an allowance.
MPs, judges, and MCAs among state officers clamoring for more pay. Are you surprised? I'm not.
Okay.
Then there's a lovely picture in the middle there of Raila Odinga assisting in keeping school children fed, serving food there with the governor from Mombasa, Abdul Samad Nasir, Food for Education founder, Wawira Njiro. They serve food at the Katija ECD Center in Mombasa. Lovely picture.
So they've gone to Mombasa now?
Yes.
All right. Sijui sasa kama senator wa huko ataenda kuuliza, who owns this company? Do you work for Mombasa?
Why are you here?
Why are you here? Where is the food? Who buys the maize?
Let's see it. Do you have in stock?
Yeah. Where is it grown?
21 acres.
Okay.
NYS.
Nivo? But tell us about traffic then. Okay. 22 to 7. Good morning.
Alrighty, so getting closer to 7, we're seeing a lot more action on the roads, but nothing at a standstill just yet, except of course if you're getting into the tunnel right at Pangani, it's going to slow you down quite some getting into the CBD. Coming off of Thika Superhighway, a lot more movement, we're seeing it now, so more folks on the road, so it's slowing down just a tad, but you'll still be fine for now. Jogo Road is busy, getting in from the Makadara train station, some traffic here and there, you'll be out and about in no time, keeping an eye on what's happening on Naivasha Road, coming in towards Ngong Road, that's pretty busy as well. Waiakiwe, it looks good. You'll be able to get into the city real fast. Okay, if you're coming off Langata Road, you're fine. The southern bypass looks pretty good from what we see. And if you're also on the eastern bypass this morning, for now, you'll be fine. Outer ring is moving. Kaende, all the way to the Thika Superhighway junction. So I think we're okay. For now, we're keeping an eye on things. We'll talk on SpiceFM. KE on X, hashtag The Situation Room.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Ghost boo, yani ile boo. Workers, 35 billion shillings. Now they can't even hold them. They can just go with money. You ask how. This Senate Watchdog Committee was trying to unfurl things, yes? They've been investigating a bogus salary payment, demanded the payroll audits from counties. Now, some didn't bring, others brought. And for those that appointed task forces, a High Court order has outlawed them. You get those task forces.
Okay.
Now, the probe has been stalled because those task forces essentially cannot probe and find out what exactly has happened. So what does that mean? If they took the money, they get to keep it. So you wonder, what on earth is happening? Let me explain it to you in a little bit more detail. Now, why ghost workers may get away with 35 billion shillings illegal pay. The Senate's investigation into a loss of at least 35 billion shillings to ghost workers risks going up in smoke following a September 2023 High Court decision that barred counties from forming teams to probe financial books in the devolved units. The investigation, which started in November 2022, seemingly stalled as counties dragged their feet while doing payroll audits and has now hit a fresh roadblock with a court verdict. While declaring illegal a task force probing the Trans Nzoia County's pending bills, Justice Anthony Mrima ruled that public institutions must consult the Office of the Auditor General if they intend to do a special review of its financial books. Remember, we heard this before, that they said, look, how are you doing something like this outside the offices of the Auditor General? If you're going to do it, the Auditor General either will be the one to assign it to an extra party or do it herself. Now, you cannot just wake up and say you're doing audits.
The audit.
As who? They don't want.
It's internal.
Internal.
It's internal audit.
No, please. You can't. It's not. That's why there's an Office of the Auditor General.
Okay.
At the time, several counties under investigation by the Senate's Public Accounts Committee had formed task forces to audit their payrolls and promised to submit reports to the legislators. Now, since identifying ghost workers and how much taxpayers have lost to the graft scheme involves probing financials, the task force formed by the governors could be made redundant by a Justice Mrima's decision. Such a scenario could in turn see beneficiaries of the 35 billion shillings scheme go scot-free and keep the loot. Even more worrying is that without action against perpetrators, counties will continue losing huge amounts of money through phony payrolls. Homa Bay, Kisii, Nyamira, Nandi, Nairobi and Mombasa counties had stated that they would file the task force reports at the Senate before the 2022-2023 financial year closed. But guess what? None of them met the deadline. Justice Mrima's judgment could now see many of the task force reports become another waste of public resources. Initially, PAC had summoned governors in 8 counties: Vihiga, Mombasa, Bomet, Migori, Nandi, Lamu, Nairobi and Nyamira, but later opted to amend its sample list. The Senate inquiry was sparked by investigation that revealed that taxpayers lost about 35 billion shillings to ghost workers in just 8 counties. So you got to ask the question.
Ghost means
there's a name on the payroll. This person doesn't necessarily sit anywhere or do anything.
It's not associated with a real human being.
If you were
it's
to
a
go
name
look,
and an account.
If it says it has a name of somebody and it has a bank account, whatever, attached to it. But if you were to go into the office and look for this individual in a department,
nobody knows the person.
Nobody knows who this person is. You would not be able to put a finger to a person. You get it?
Okay.
Then so many things happening. So, and you want to wonder, knowing very well that those who are able to do audits of financial nature is within the Office of the Auditor General, and that should you constitute such a task force, you needed permissions from the Auditor General to do that. So the question is, was it intentional?
It's just criminal.
Nonsense.
It's proper criminal.
And these are 8 counties. What about the remaining 39? What about the remaining 39? Who nobody even knows what's going on? If they're telling you that in one department in the Treasury, how many millions did they say they're paying over because of a bloated workforce? Do we even know if that bloated workforce consists of actual blood-thumping human beings? You don't know. You don't know, man. This is very sad.
You
Let
know,
me
this
tell
is
you.
just and the issue of ghost workers never, ever, ever gets resolved.
No, it doesn't.
We just come and say, yeah, the money went.
Oh,
yes.
no.
So now, who are we going to recover it
You
from?
mean they're ghost workers?
They don't exist. So who are we going to recover it from?
And every time there's a new county boss, a new county chief, what's
There'll
the thing
be-
that they're going to say? I'm going to deal with this issue of ghost workers. It will never be a
Kwanza,
thing
you
again in
parade
this
peop-
county.
Remember, like in Kisii,
Hey,
they were
paraded
told
people and vehicles.
everybody, sumama next to your vehicle.
Mean-
You see now, these are ghost workers.
Meanwhile,
we
on
clean.
this list, Kissy is number 2.
No wonder Rani had to do like that.
So you want Eric, let me tell you, see all this money that people are looking for to pay all this, do mop it up from inside here. You will find
35
that
billion shillings is what we're talking about, right?
Yes.
Hey.
In this financial year. In this financial year, we're not talking about years gone by.
Yeah.
We're not talking about what's currently going on.
Yep.
My goodness.
The
Then
new
people say there's
Eurobond
no
that we
money.
floated, from August, we're going to pay 23.2 billion shillings as interest.
You see?
Okay? 35 could actually pay installment plus more.
Yes.
And this is just counties.
This is ghost alone.
Counties.
Yes.
We haven't
8
gone to
counties.
We have not gone to national.
Eric,
We
it
have not
is
done 47.
8 counties.
We haven't done 47. We haven't done national government. The national government is a ghost house.
I'm telling you.
It's basically
haunted
house. And that's where, hey, my good Lord. Hii Kenya hii.
Criminal.
Haya. President William Ruto is fronting Azimio la Umoja leader Raila Odinga for a top AU position in a deal that could tilt the political landscape and complicate the 2027 presidential election matrix. Prime CS and Foreign Affairs and Diaspora CS Musalia Mudavadi is expected to lead Kenya's push to have Raila elected as chairperson of the African Union Commission during the interministerial conference of the AU meeting in Addis Ababa that begins today. In a surprising turn of events, the president and Mudavadi have initiated a campaign for Raila to become the AUC chairperson. The duo are lobbying African heads of state to vote for Raila in the upcoming AU summit in Addis this month, in a move seen as an unexpected alliance between political rivals. The current AU chairperson, Musa Faki Mohammed of Chad, has served in that position for 8 years after he was unanimously re-elected in February 2021. Remember, when Musa Faki Mohammed was being elected, one of his main challengers was Kenyan Amina Mohammed, fronted by Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto. Kenya has been looking to head the AU Commission for a while. Now, the former permanent representative, special representative on infrastructure in the African Union is the candidate.
You know, it sounds an awful lot to me like, how about you go over there to Addis and sit there and leave us alone?
Or how about you sort me out with a job, I'll leave you alone.
And I'll leave you alone.
Yeah. Do you think Raila is unaware of this?
That what?
Is unaware that this push is that Musalia is going there and saying, please, we have a candidate. He's a Pan-Africanist. He comes with all the credentials. In fact, he has sorted out Africa's infrastructure.
Bold enough to say, I think there's very little that Raila's unaware of. I think he knows exactly what's going on. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Senor. So this one, but I think he qualifies for this job.
I mean, if we're going to be honest, I think he does. You can't run away from the political innuendo, however, that's happening around this whole move. After all, if you're far away from me, you're not going to disturb me, right?
I know you'll be kept busy.
You'll be busy.
Yeah. And then, what better big thing? You are
leading
chairman of AU Commission. Aye, that's a big thing. We stop calling you former prime. We just call you AU Commission chair. Yes. Former things go away.
They are done. We're talking about now.
Yes. Nobody speaks to Africa if they don't speak through me.
Where?
Africa.
You see it happening?
As a continent. Huh?
You see it happening?
Oh, yeah. It's a big thing.
It's
a big thing for Raila. And a big thing for Kenya. A Kenyan should head this AU thing.
Okay. We've decided.
Yes.
Okay. Let me tell you where people are fighting.
Okay.
TSC here, education here.
Yeah.
Where, as it is, things are a mess. Now, on top, we are adding fights.
They're still fighting.
Yes, please.
Uh-huh.
Teachers' unions in new battle over TSC. Two main teachers' unions are spoiling for a fight to restore credibility in the eyes of their members and stamp their authority with the employer. They're basically saying that over the last few years, with certain directives here and there, the TSC has just become a playground for nonsense, and they're not really interested in having this happen anymore. They want to restore dignity. They want to restore seriousness. Now, inside KNUT and Kupet's renewed rivalry on membership, the two main teachers' unions are spoiling for a fight. Kenya National Union of Teachers and the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers have taken firm opposing positions on ongoing proposed amendments to the Teacher Service Commission Act. Remember that whole thing of who can do what, who cannot? Yeah, they're saying, well, you know what? Look, this is my position. It's now emerging that the push to amend the TSC Act has given the unions a new battlefront, smarting from the embarrassment of the non-monetary CBA they received 2 years ago that pushed them out of favor with their members. So they went and remember, Collins Oyu, in one of his very first assignments, or rather things that he had to do as the new Secretary General, they negotiated the CBA. It was completely non-monetary, and the teachers were, jonesing for some more money in their pockets.
Yeah.
What did they get? Immediate transfer should you want it, the place of your city, whatever. Extended maternity leave, paternity leave then for male teachers, but didn't put any money in their pocket. So they were saying, what's wrong with you? We sent you there and that's what you've come back with.
We want money.
We want money. So they were the first to throw a salvo at the TSC, declaring that they would not attend the meeting, this one that just passed. At the media briefing at the eve of the meeting, KNUT Secretary General Collins Oyu criticized the proposed new changes, terming the consultative meeting as a short on notice and punitive to teachers. He highlighted specific points of objections to each of the contested clauses. He says, if you look at the draft proposals page by page, it is very punitive to teachers. We are not ready to be scolded anymore. We've taken it only for so long. This has got to stop. A similar outburst came from Kupet. And they're saying, you know what? We are standing firm against the teachers' employers. Missouri accused the TSC of being domineering and faulted its push for more powers. So the unions, in a rare show of,
they are standing with the ministry.
Yes, they're saying, you guys, don't play with us anymore. We'll show you.
Like City would say, negotiation in top gear.
Yeah.
Telling the ministry, you want us to support you? What's on the table? Na mkicheza kesho, that conversation can change immediately and say, actually, the Teacher Service Commission is our employer. We only recognize the TSC. In fact, the TSC should have all the powers. In fact, the ministry should stay away.
Now they're saying, hey, you guys, TSC.
Higher. There's a story here from Nakuru. Last November, a lady who the nation is giving the name Cynthia, but not her real name, came across her friend's WhatsApp status advertising a business selling health supplements. Intrigued, she visited the firm's offices in downtown Nakuru, where she was introduced to someone whom the company, which touted itself as championing a healthy and wealthy lifestyle, said would be her mentor. The mentor pitched the health benefits of their supplements, emphasizing on disease prevention and outlining a compensation scheme where Cynthia would be paid between 4,800 and 6,000 shillings for each new client she introduced. To Cynthia, it was like killing two birds with one stone. First of all, you gain financial independence while at the same time promoting your own health. She decided to join the venture, selecting a package with a price tag of 42,000 shillings. They said the health supplements prevent diseases like cancer, arthritis, and others, which are expensive to treat. That mentor told me that they were new in Nakuru, but many people had already joined in Nairobi. She was required to pay the total amount to receive her supplements within 1 week. She raised half of the money through her savings and contributions from friends, but to unlock the full package, she was told she had to enlist more clients to the program. I was hesitant at first, but I told myself it was my friend who referred me, so I had to be genuine. It had to be genuine. After paying half the money, I asked when I could get the supplement. I was told I would get the product after unlocking the full package through client references. However, anticipation turned to disappointment as the company continued to withhold the promised supplements, citing the need for additional client recruitment. This story is sounding
very,
all too
very familiar.
All too familiar. No. This is a new one.
Okay, here we go.
Frustrated and feeling deceived, Cynthia attempted to contact the company, but her inquiries were met with evasion. Even her friend, who had initially introduced her to the business, redirected her back to the firm, which would often send text messages urging her to attend online meetings. When I was given my receipt, I was close to client number 750, meaning there were many others who had come before me and they had suffered the same fate.
Oh my God.
I did not know they were con artists. They had a physical office, they had employees. The way they explained the scheme to me made a lot of sense. It made it look so real. I've been trying to reach out to them to ask them to refund my money. I hope one day we'll get our money back.
Sister, you won't.
She was not the only one. There was Sharon, who fell prey to the same scheme after being enticed by a neighbor who promised substantial earnings for referring new clients. It goes on and on. Kennedy Mogo became a target of the deceptive scheme when he received an invitation to what he believed was a county-sponsored forum to discuss health issues and the economic empowerment of the youth. The invitation seemed official. He thought it originated from the county government of Nakuru. We are pleased to inform you that you've been selected to attend the Inter-County Health and Financial Empowerment meeting on the 10th of February to discuss where to get capital to start a business, enrolling the housing program and health service program and by the national government, to quality education, including traveling overseas for further studies and trips and vacations worldwide. You have been carefully selected.
You.
Upon attending the meeting, the resident of Gilgil said to his surprise there were no officials from the county or national government, and the purported event was a trick orchestrated by the same Nakuru-based Kamban.
Oh no. Company. These things still happen. People still fall into this trap. Before you even read line 3, I just knew. It's another one. And for some reason, somebody can convince you face to face like this, and you will accept.
So you've brought in half. Now the other half is okay. You don't have to bring money. Bring people. Okay.
Who are willing to pay that money?
Yeah.
If you bring people who can pay that money full, we'll accept your half.
And then
What
we'll give
rubbish.
you the benefits.
What rubbish! Absolute hogwash. What? Oh no! So now they've closed. Nobody can find them, Abi. The office. Where's the office? It's closed. It's closed.
Office? Which office?
In Nakuru.
Money? Which money? Huh? Who? You are who?
Where? Who called you? Where?
You are who?
My dear. It's a very sad state of affairs. Let me tell you.
Okay.
People are buying less fuel than they have been in the last 5 years amid high fuel prices. Fuel consumption in 6 months to December last year dropped to the lowest level in the last 5 years. Let me say that again. Fuel consumption in 6 months to December last year dropped to the lowest level in at least 5 years, highlighting the impact of record high pump prices amid doubling of value-added tax, otherwise known as VAT. Data from the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority shows that consumption of diesel, super petrol and kerosene fell 5% to 2.28 billion litres in the period compared to 2.4 billion litres used in the second half of 2022. This is the lowest recorded in Kenya, at least since 2019, and came at the time prices breached the 200 a litre mark in some towns after VAT on petroleum products was doubled to 16% effective July 1st, 2023. Pump prices jumped by up to 13 shillings a litre when EPRA adjusted prices to reflect the new VAT rate of 16%. So essentially, what are we saying? That in the last 5 years, what Kenya is seeing is the lowest consumption. So because of the high prices of fuel, people are purchasing less fuel because they cannot afford it.
So what does that mean? That people are not traveling, or that people are carpooling, or that people are using public transport?
I think it's a combination of. I think all of those things come into play here. What did Cyprian tell us last week, Friday, about one thing that they saw? People over the festivities. People didn't travel.
Yeah.
People are moving less. People are traveling together. People are using transport more, public transport more.
This is what the cost of living is.
Yes.
Musijali, tuko na Eurobond kwa mfuko. It's 7 a.m. Good morning.
Spice up your life.
Good morning, this is Newswire. I'm Dennis Aseto. Fugitive murder suspect Kevin Kinyanjui Kangethe has been rearrested after he dramatically escaped from police custody. Kangethe was arrested in Mbulbul in Ngong Tuesday evening as he sought refuge at one of his relatives' home. Nairobi Police Boss Adamson Bungei confirmed the rearrest. He was brought to Nairobi under heavy security ahead of arraignment. Police had focused on Ngong after all indications showed he was in the area. Kangethe escaped from Withaika Police Station on February 7th in an incident that shocked many. He was awaiting extradition on a Massachusetts warrant. He was arrested in Westlands on January 30th and was to be extradited when he escaped from custody. Kangethe had been detained pending a ruling on whether he should be extradited to face a first-degree murder charge in connection with the death of Margaret Mbitu on October 31st, 2023. This is a developing story. We shall be bringing you the very latest in a subsequent news bulletin. Now, President William Ruto has requested the world to embrace the technological reforms to promote efficiency and accountability. Speaking at the World Conference in Dubai, Ruto used the opportunity to explain why Kenya is moving various public services to be available only on the e-citizen platform. He said that government can improve service delivery to citizens if they invest in technology.
In Kenya, we understand that the soul of innovation is the constant endeavor to meet public demand by providing solutions to problems, efficiently delivering effective services, and transforming challenges into productive opportunities. With this understanding, we have exploited our digital revolution to transform the public and private service delivery landscape, enabling government to reach more people, accelerating the performance of key sectors.
The head of state also said services like M-Pesa have changed how transactions are being done while enabling transparency and efficiency.
Our proudest moment as Kenya, which has come to define our country in the digital technology space, is mobile money, and Mokhtar Diop has referred to it shortly, which first emerged in our country as M-Pesa. When Safaricom launched the service 17 years ago, the country's banking sector was up in arms, pointing out that Safaricom had set out to conduct banking business without either obtaining a banking license or undergoing the rigors of banking regulation.
Attorney General Justin Muturi has lifted the lead on how important decisions concerning his docket, like appointments of senior officers and bills finding their way to Parliament, are made without his approval. While making pitch for his office to be independent, Muturi said the Public Service Commission has been making appointments of senior officers in his office without his knowledge. Speaking when he appeared before the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee to defend decision to amend the Statute Law Miscellaneous Amendment Bill 2023, Muturi revealed that his staff are demoralized and this has affected implementation of services at the state office.
I have, for instance, a gentleman who works at State House, but he was appointed by the Public Service Commission to the level of Senior Deputy Solicitor General. The current Chief of Staff in the Office of the Deputy President is a Senior Deputy Solicitor General. I'm making my case why it is important for me to delink from the Public Service Commission, and this committee and Parliament could agree with me. Give me a board. It is not just in Muturi to sit. I'm not interested to appoint anybody, but a board so as to serve everybody fairly.
The bill currently before the National Assembly seeks to create a board for the State Law Office that is assumed will make it more independent. Now, Kenya has been picked to host the planned Elevate Africa Summit, a landmark event marking a significant moment in the evolution of unmanned aerial systems and drone technology on the African continent. The event is scheduled to take place on June 28th to 29th, 2024 in Nairobi and Konza Technopolis in Machakos. The decision to host the summit in Nairobi comes as a result of Kenya's role as a frontrunner in the realm of UAS. And India and the United Arab Emirates signed an agreement on a trade corridor that aims to connect Europe with India through parts of the Middle East by sea and rail, an ambitious plan backed by the US and the European Union. The announcement of the framework agreement, reached during a visit by Prime Minister Narendra Modi to the Gulf state, was released in a statement by the Indian Foreign Ministry, although few details on what the sides had agreed on were made public. This is Newswire. I'm Dennis Aseto. Good morning.
SpiceFM, Nakuru.
All right, coming through to a few minutes after 7 o'clock, and traffic has built up on the Thika Superhighway. We're seeing it coming in heavy all the way from Githurai through towards the Outer Ring Junction. Quite some traffic there, and it's bumper to bumper as you get towards Murang'a Road. Some of that is coming onto Wangari Maathai. We're looking at traffic heavy also on Kiambu Road. It's amazing how this just doubles up in minutes, because then also coming out of Westlands, a lot of traffic here. James Gishore is also piled up quite some in and outbound as you're coming from Zima Springs. It's heavy coming in through to Wayaki Way at the crossover there towards the Red Hill Link Road. And all your little roads in there, State House Road, Processional Way, Dennis Pritt, traffic here and there. And you're also looking at traffic then coming into the CBD this morning. It looks like we're starting early, even before traffic hour gives us a tick-tock of the clock. Let's keep an eye on things as we get into Wednesday. SpiceFM KE on X, hashtag The Situation Room.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
How are you doing? Welcome to the second hour of Kenya's biggest conversation. It's The Situation Room. It's the day of love. It's the 14th day of February 2024. And on the 14th day of February, your true love have said to you?
A ticket to the Valentine's dinner, which is the Elegance in Love cocktail dinner. It's taking place today, the day you've been waiting for. Tell them how much you love them, Eric.
Oh, love you very much.
You see. Well done.
It is a very, very much.
It is a very, very much love kind of thing.
It's a very, very much kind of thing, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
It's not for jokes.
No.
No.
Or just saying it because you don't have anything else to say.
Yeah.
Well, here's a way to actually make it. Look, you still have some time. You can purchase your ticket as you're going to dinner tonight. It's 6 p.m. at Sarit Your City. Take yourself for 3,000 shillings. Take your special somebody for 5,500 shillings. Take your very, very, very special somebody for 10,000 shillings. And it's food too, so you're not just going to show up and then buy food. No, all of this is inclusive.
Wow.
And then if it's your very, very special somebody and there's a bottle of bubbly on the table for you to enjoy. We want you to dress in burgundy and red. What? Burgundy and gold is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
And that's how we want you to look tonight as you are in the company of Wahoo and Nameless, crooning the night away,
my friend,
with songs of love.
Oh, my friend. This is the day
that the Lord has made.
Yeah. If you don't express your love today, tomorrow it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Oh, love is a daily thing.
Shut up.
No,
where were you yesterday?
nothing. So two people were talking, and one goes, if I said I love you, will you say it back? The person is like, what? If I said I love you, will you say it back? It's like, you want me to say it back? Yeah. Okay, yeah. Then of course, I will say it back. From your heart, like from your heart. Yes, of course, I will say it back from my heart. Oh, I love you. It back. From the heart.
You see problems.
Yes.
And that's how the fight started.
And that's how. Now, since then, love became a whole new thing. Now, because this is the day of love, and you express it in many, many ways, including flowers, mainly flowers. We know flowers, or language of love, or flowers. We've invited the CEO of the Kenya Flower Council, Clement Tulezi, to come and join us, and let's talk about flower production and the flower markets for Kenya. Clement, happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day to you.
Welcome to the hot seat of the Situation Room.
Thank you, thank you.
We had said earlier, if Clement comes here and he doesn't come with flowers, we are telling him, just go away. Nini mekuleta kama si maua.
We always look at quality. We always want it to be fresh. So they're harvesting this morning because we harvest every day, every morning, sometimes in the afternoon twice. And so they will arrive here fresh as you like them.
Good save.
Yes.
Good save.
Flowers are on the way.
Yes.
Ndu.
Yes.
Flowers are on the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Usiseme ati what did
Eric didn't give me flowers.
What did I get you? Clement has just said.
Yes. Your flowers that you're giving to me are on the way.
Flowers are coming.
Okay, so.
Welcome. If City were here, City has gone to his keynote speaker at the men's conference. So he's
okay.
So he's gone there. He left me with the day's proverb. And every week, courtesy of EcoBank, City goes to an African country. He gets proverbs from that country, and then he gives us a proverb every day. EcoBank is a Pan-African bank, right, Ndu?
Yes, it is. With presence in over 35, well, actually in 35 countries in Africa and some 4 countries around the world. So EcoBank, imagine, whereby you don't have to shut down your accounts if you would leave one country and go to another. If you work there for a while, that you could just skip on to the next country and you'll be able to pick up your banking as though, nothing happened. So it's great. So seamless transition of transactions around the different countries where EcoBank is represented, plus some in Europe, France, the UK, UAE, and there was
France.
one more. France, of course, France and South Africa.
And China.
Thank you very much.
That's the other one.
If City was here, I knew.
And South Africa.
And South Africa.
Okay.
And
France.
France.
Okay.
So with that, it's saying, you know what, we can make it better. We can always do better. And EcoBank is punching up really hard and saying, you know what, we can actually make it where we say across the continent, your number one place to be where banking is concerned. It doesn't matter where you go, you will get the same level of service, the same quality through and through, making a better you, a better Africa.
So this week, City is in Angola, and the proverb for today is, the squirrel does not talk back to the elephant. How do you interpret that one, Clement? The squirrel does not talk back to the elephant.
Okay, I could say, I think the elephant is too big for the squirrel. So they are not operating on the same wavelength. So how do you talk back to this gigantic creature that you don't have an impact on? However, if you get into a duel, you are certainly not going to win. But also, on the other hand, I could think probably the squirrel is more crafty than the elephant. And therefore, it's much more of a strategy than depending on the strength that the elephant has.
So it doesn't talk?
So it doesn't talk. It goes back to the strategy and applies it.
Actions speak louder for the squirrel than words. One of the actions is enter the trunk.
Yeah.
Enter the elephant's trunk.
Trunk, yes.
And it will hear you. Well, thank you for that interpretation. Now, please tell us what the Kenya Flower Council is and what it does.
The Kenya Flour Council is a business membership organization for growers and exporters and value chain actors in the floriculture subsector. Largely, the sector is driven from a private sector perspective. Yes, we have some support from government, but on day-to-day, we manage our business as private sector. So Kenya Flour Council plays that critical role of really driving the sector. We always say that we are about 4 organizations into one. So we are a business membership organization. So everything that you expect a business membership organization to be doing for a crucial sector like these, we do. But we also own a scheme because the sector we work in is highly regulated, both here and in the marketplace. Just to understand, the marketplace is the international market, and therefore the question of the standards become very, very crucial. Kenya Flour Council Flowers and Ornamental Sustainability Standard is one of the best 2 standards in the world on cut flowers and ornamentals. So we own that standard. In other countries, the running of a standard is also left to other people. We call them third-party players, but we run it ourselves. And the 4th is that we are a certification body. That means we can do certification across many other certifications. And therefore, we are 4 organizations is to one, but internally we have demarcated how we work because we are also audited internationally to prove how independent all those different facets of the organization work without interference from one to another, because you don't want to have a standard that internationally people believe that it's your standard and it has any influence over those whom you certify. And therefore, we have systems that we have put across the board to understand that we have a relationship, but we don't have crossovers in terms of influence. So we are a big organization in terms of what we do, and we have been able to drive this sector for the last 28 years to get to where we are. And today, Kenya is among the top 2 or 3 growers and exporters of cut flowers in the world. It's not an easy feat. We have worked on it for quite many years, and we continue doing it every day, understanding what we need to do to support the growers, exporters, right from production through the entire supply chain up to the market. And we have a big name in the marketplace because we belong to institutions that really make decisions at the international level, but also the way we interact with the market at the regulatory level with governments and on trade, looking at tariffs and regulations and many others. We have made a huge impact in that area. So we cut across everything that you expect in the cut flower and ornamental sector.
Okay. Does the council and the 4 bodies that you talked about being meshed into one then look at this horticulture as with an external view only in terms of selling to meeting the standards of the global market, or are there internal policies as well as sales for commercial value within the country that are looked at as well?
We will say that at the moment, the international market remains the most important market for us. Almost 99% of everything we grow, we export to the international market. But we probably may be the only sector in Kenya that has something we call self-regulation. Because we are not just focusing on the market, we also want to show how ethical we are and how we do business here. So we have put in place our own systems, just looking at the code of practice internally to make sure that we comply as much as possible to what Kenyans expect from us. And we have always been calling to other sectors to borrow a leaf from us, what we have been able to do in terms of being really called a Kenyan sector. You know that many years ago when we started this, a lot of people focused on us as much more external sector than we are, because a lot of pioneers of growing cut flowers and ornamentals, most of them were not Kenyans. But today, over 50% of people who grow and export cut flowers in Kenya are actually Kenyans. And therefore, we have embraced this as a Kenyan industry. We try to run programs to promote the local consumption. but it has not taken as much traction as we would expect compared to the international. So as much as we drive certain programs and campaigns locally, the international market has remained stronger than the local market. So we have sometimes to pay much more attention to the international market, because you need to understand that the people I'm talking about are business people. They are looking at where they make most of the Kenya shilling, yes, or the dollar or the euro. That is where they will focus most. But we haven't forgotten the Kenyan, consumers. We always encourage as much consumption internally as much as possible. It's not that we have just made a choice to go international. If we had consumption locally that has taken traction, why would we be spending money going to Netherlands or in Germany or France or UK, wherever? I mean, that is a whole hassle that we can avoid if we do have a market internally in Kenya.
Isn't it a culture thing, though? And I think it's important to look at, because if we just look at a lot of the European countries, because I guess that makes up the bulk of the global market for Kenya. It's Europe.
Yes.
And if you want to do a comparison between what folks in that part of the world use flowers for and what they're used for here, it's incomparable. That, culturally, we as Africans would not use them in the same manner. Is that something that comes into play?
Yeah, it's true, but it's just in the mind. I always believe that you can always change your mind and start seeing things differently. People talk about, the purchasing power and all that. And I say, how much does someone in the UK spend purchasing a bouquet of flowers? Probably it's just an equivalent of some 300 Kenya shillings. How much are Kenyans spending on a Saturday in some club somewhere? Probably it's 10 times that or 20 times that. So it's just in the mind. I'm certain that we can be able to afford. So it's not a question of affordability. On the cultural thing, a lot of people, Kenyans are quite dynamic. They've traveled the globe. They've seen these things wherever they have been. So it is possible for them to change that culture and start embracing something different. I always say, probably where we have a much more better consumption, they have a much more longer life than we do because of the effect that flowers have on their life.
That's true.
The global studies have shown that mental health is becoming quite an issue. And that is where we come in. We believe that we have a product that can be able to, in quotes, cure some of the challenges we have with mental health.
So in addition to, because here, if we look at what we use them for here, it's either weddings or a funeral. Very few people actually will buy flowers with their weekly groceries or whatever and put them in a vase, and put them in the house. Or I'm going to visit a friend and I go with a bouquet. It doesn't have to be Valentine's Day. I can go with a bouquet of flowers just to say hello to a friend. We don't do that, though. We use them for those two major events or when there's a function. That's when you'll see flowers come out.
Yeah, but why do you do it? It's still mental because someone has lost a loved one. So you go there with a bouquet of flowers and you're saying, okay, this is just to express my feelings. It will get better. It will get better. So look at these flowers, the next 1 week or 2 weeks, just to soothe your mind that yes, you've had this loss, but it's possible that things will get much better as time goes. We can do that every day in our houses. We can do that while visiting friends and whatever. We can still express the same thing. So why don't we do it every day? Valentine gives us an opportunity.
Has the Kenya Flower Council ever attempted to create a local market?
We have set up something called the Kenya Flower Vendors Association. It's basically an association of florists in the major cities or major towns in Kenya, just helping to drive an understanding of what flowers actually mean. What if you put these in your house in a vase for 1 week, 2 weeks, what it actually means to you? And we have run a number of messages, including now we have a 14-day where we're running messages on Kenyan flowers and what it actually means, not just for economy, at a social level, what it actually means. So we run a number of programs here with the local florists, just to drive a bit of uptake.
Okay.
But as much as we've done that,
what's the outcome of that? Are
we
you
have
able to
moved a
quantify?
bit. We have moved a bit. That's why I left the 1% for Kenya. Many years ago, probably 10 years ago, it was almost zero. Because if you compared what people buy from the city market and elsewhere, compared to the total volume, it was almost nothing you can talk about. Today, we have left about 1% that we consume here. And we believe we can be able to move it to 2-3% for Kenya and also within the region and the continent. The continent has also remained behind. Why would we every day be flying these, looking for new markets in as far as Korea and Malaysia and the rest? And we have just Nigeria. I consider Nigeria the next door.
Okay.
Congo,
So
or whatever.
what has the Kenya Flower Council done? So we're talking about growing the local market in Kenya, within East Africa and within Africa.
Yeah, within the continent. We are working closely with our foreign missions in Angola, in Nigeria, in South Africa, in Congo, just to start with those four, because they are closer to the market than we are on a daily basis. They give us intelligence. They link us up with the buyers in those markets. The biggest challenge has also been with logistics, how we are able to move this product fresh as we want it from here to Angola. So movement of this produce and what we call the inter-Africa connectivity on freight is a big challenge. It's easier for anyone who will think how to connect from Nairobi to Amsterdam. 8 hours, 9 hours, you are in Amsterdam, and from there, the product is distributed as quickly as possible because logistics are easier, but also the distribution lines have been worked on for a long time. So they are very, very smooth in terms of movement because we are dealing with a perishable product that must reach the destination as quickly as possible. If I were to move this to Luanda, for example, how do I move it? You have to move it from here probably to Ghana, then from Ghana, where we do not have the cold chain to
Nairobi.
maintain.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
We don't have direct from here, for example.
To
Luanda.
Yes, those are the challenges that we constantly have with the continent.
Okay, let me ask if I can. Because what we're talking about here essentially is that from what we understand, horticulture is floriculture is one of the major foreign exchange earners for the country.
That is true.
Today.
Yes.
Right? We're also looking at a market in Africa whereby, if you ask me, if we're able to get the infrastructure in place, the European market would pale in number of dollars that could come into Kenya.
Yes.
I remember taking flowers from here for my sister's wedding in Nigeria. Now, one might ask, why would you have to do that? We're looking at Kenya's weather temperatures are perfect for growing a lot of the flowers. That's why you have it anyway.
Yes.
And also, if you look at the wedding industry in Nigeria, we're talking about a $70 billion a year outfit. And that's just one country. Like you said, there's Angola. There are other countries in the middle belt of this continent that would want things like this. So like I said, would far outweigh the dollars that are coming in from Europe. But what we are saying now, essentially, is that the infrastructure is not in place to have a major trade benefit coming into the country, and we're not able to handle that.
Yes.
And I would have to ask, why are conversations not being had, not just at embassy level, but much higher up at government trade level, whereby this is virgin territory that can be tapped properly to make sure that things are happening.
I agree with you. We have the Africa Free Continental Trade Area Agreement that is the instrument that we can use. So on paper, we have the instrument, we have the tools, but in terms of actualizing, so we have two challenges. The first one I've mentioned is logistics, which in terms of movement across borders, it's not been harmonized. And even just the connectivity, all the major airlines, they don't think about connectivity in Africa. It's a challenge. Have you heard of one day when the Kenyan football team was going to play somewhere in Cape Verde, and they had to take 2 days to get there? I don't know, go to Middle East, Europe. Somewhere in Dubai, move from there to Paris, then from Paris, and they're coming back onto the continent. It's just shocking. The secondly is being able to harmonize what we call the phytosanitary protocols and what, the border controls. When you show up with flowers from Kenya, in Nigeria, for example, and Nigeria is asking, where has this come from? Our NPPO, the National Plant Protection Organization, has not harmonized itself or had a link with the counterpart in Nigeria. So how do they understand that this has gone through the necessary checks and they can be allowed? That is what we have done with the EU. You have seen we have signed the instruments that have created what we call the Economic Partnership Agreement with the EU. And this will give us a quota-free, duty-free access to the European market for a long time. What it means that if you show up with a product grown in Kenya, no one in the EU is asking you, what is this? Or has it gone through all the checks? Because we have been able to harmonize our protocols across in Kenya and the EU. Those are some of the things that we need to do in the shortest time possible. And it's a huge market. Africa is a huge market. I can tell you Nigerians are ordering flowers from Netherlands. But where are these flowers coming from? They are Kenyan flowers, because 40% of all the flowers in Europe are Kenyan. So you can be sure that out of every 4 flowers, 10 flowers, 4 are actually from Kenya. So they are actually ordering products that are coming from the continent.
Clement.
But it has all the way to go to Netherlands.
Are you saying that the deals that have been signed, for example, the Africa Free Continental Trade Area and the others, in the region, do not address these issues?
They do, but it's just paper.
So it's just
at a practical level, not much has moved.
So the next thing is now to move it to the practical level.
Exactly.
And those in the industry, those who understand their various sectors, have a role to play.
Yes.
And I still come back
that
to
is
Kenya
where
Flower
we need
Council,
government. Yes.
as Kenya Flower Council, because you understand what the needs are and what the pain points are and what you have good experience with the European market and other markets, then you go to government and advise the government, these are the things that we need. Have you done that? Have you gone to government and said, this is what we need, for example, to sign with Nigeria so that we can access that market?
That is very clear.
To sign with other countries that we can access.
That is very clear to government, both to us in private sector and government, what needs to be done. But it takes a while for some of these wheels to start rolling because of other factors that we may not have control over as private sector. Ours is to be able to put this in front of government and say, this is what we require for these things to move. And it's not, when we talk about that, away from Africa, we have potential in many other countries. I can tell you, Korea, for example, we have studies, we have looked at Korea, the potential that is there. But Korea has 24% tariff on Kenyan flowers. As much as you have the market there, how do you really compete when you have your next competitor, a different country, who are at 0? China, on our flowers, the tariff is between 4% and 24%, depending on which flowers. India, for example, have banned, they have banned export of flowers from Kenya and many other countries into India, roses and carnations. But on the rest of the flowers, there is a 60% tariff. How do you compete? So I can go on and on. Many countries, Turkey, for example, is a huge market for us. We've had discussions here together with government, but nothing has moved. There is a whole 36% tariff. Ukraine, believe you me, it's a huge market for us. And they have a 52% tariff on Kenyan flowers. So as much as we want to diversify the market, there are things that are drawing us back. This industry can move into double digits in the next 10 years. We are certain of that. If we just touch certain things that are very crucial to this sector. We have grown, as horticulture, we are neck to neck with tea in terms of foreign exchange. But for horticulture, flowers is a whole 72%. We are certain that in the next 10 years, if certain things are attached, and we can talk about all those things, we can move this into employing close to 500,000 people in a very, very short time if we touch some of those things.
Let's take a Keringet break right now. This Valentine Day, we are hosting Clement Chulezi. He is the CEO of the Kenya Flower Council. The potential of flower production in the country and the potential of Kenyan flowers globally. Or across the globe today, on this Valentine's Day, people are going to receive flowers. There's a high likelihood that those flowers will have been grown in Kenya and exported from Kenya. Can you imagine? That's how good we are in terms of our flower production. But there's a lot more that we can do, and that's what we're discussing with Clement. So we're saying that this is called a Keringet break because we are going to, Ednah will bring you a Keringet, bottle of Keringet shortly. Keringet, as you know, is a Kenyan brand that celebrates Kenya's richness. We say, take Keringet because it comes from natural rock, it's naturally filtered, that it's bottled at source, it has all the good minerals. When you say it's mineral water, we actually mean it's mineral water. Okay? Keringet, own your richness. We'll be back shortly. Good morning.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Revenge is for children. It's for kids. When you grow up, you realize the best revenge you can take on somebody is to ignore them.
I'm just new in politics. It is not everybody's cup of tea. That's why some people come in one term and that's it for them.
Political parties in this country do not have ideologies, whether luring or otherwise.
And that is the effect of corruption.
Any time an offense occurs anywhere in the country, it is the job of the Inspector General to look into it. Whether it's corruption, whether it's murder, whether it's petty, that is his job.
If we have chosen to be a corrupt nation, then we produce corrupt leaders. Everything then becomes chaotic that you cannot be able to change a nation.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Sunny conditions in Nairobi this morning. We will see highs of 27 and lows of 14. We're looking into a sunny in Nakuru, going to highs of 26, and we'll see highs of 26 in Nyeri as well. Looking at highs of 26 in a clear Eldoret at 14, coming down to lows of 14. And in Mombasa, it's cloudy at 26 with highs of 33. We'll see highs of 32 in a partly cloudy Malindi, currently at 27. It's clear at 21 in Kisumu, highs of 30, while in Kakamega at 18. Mostly clear at the moment. We'll see highs of 32. It's mostly cloudy at 20 in Kampala with highs of 28, and we'll see highs of 32 in a mostly clear Dar es Salaam at 27. Johannesburg is clear at 17 with highs of 30, while into a sunny Mogadishu at 25, we'll see highs of 32. Addis Ababa is at 14 degrees and mostly cloudy, highs of 22, and into Lagos, it's mostly clear at 28 with highs of 34. It's mostly cloudy at 22 in Kinshasa, we'll see highs of 32.
Spice up your life.
In Nairobi this Wednesday, looking at the CBD coming into it, quite heavy traffic. Valley Road is doing the thing. Processional Way also has some. State House Road then leading and touching on Chiromo. Very, very busy this morning. Ring Road Westlands, James Gishuru, everybody then touching on Wayaki Way at one point or another. Then look at what's happening on the Thika Superhighway. Quite a lot of traffic coming in all the way from Garden City out towards the Allsops Junction and then through to the CBD. Kiambu Road even busier. I don't even know how many lanes we have now, but you're just going to have to be patient as we get into the city. On the Eastern Bypass, some traffic coming in and outbound as well. Coming in from Cabanas towards North Airport Road. Very busy this morning as well. We're going to keep an eye on it. Let's know what's going on where you are. Want to keep things moving this Wednesday. Talk to us on SpiceFM KE on X, hashtag #TheSituationRoom.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
With the Chief Executive Officer of the Kenya Flower Council, Clement Tulezi, who's our guest this morning. As we celebrate Valentine's Day, we've got to talk flowers and Kenya's potential to dominate completely the entire world market. What's our current global market share?
At the moment, our global market share is just about 8%.
8 or 80?
8%.
08?
Yes, 8%.
Wow. Okay.
And we call it 8 because it could be much more than that. But what we do is that we export raw material. And this raw material is owned by someone else who move it elsewhere. So the 8% probably is just what we do much more direct. But if you look at what Netherlands, for example, exports, so we are talking about export not in terms of production.
Yeah.
Production is much higher. As I said, 40% of all the flowers in Europe are from Kenya. And therefore, in terms of production, it could be in the realm of 34%. Okay. But on the other hand, when you look at exports, because we export raw materials, we export to majorly through Netherlands, who takes ownership and then re-exports. Then at that point, it becomes their product. And therefore, it changes a lot of things change.
I'm sure many people are hearing and wondering.
Yes.
Talking about exporting raw material,
yes.
Flowers are raw material. What does that mean? I mean, does it mean... Please explain. When you say we're exporting raw material...
There is what we call value addition.
Okay.
What we do on the farm here, we grow, then we process to some level in the pack house, and then we pack and we export. At that moment, when it gets to the destination, they unpack and then value add. They do bouquets, they do much more finished product now for the end consumer.
Okay.
At that point, they take ownership of the product, and then it becomes their product which they can now export in any part of the continent. So largely, yes, it's a flower, but at the end of the day, when it arrives to the consumer, it has changed its form. And that is now what we call value addition. We are looking at a possibility of that happening here much more. And we think we will get much more value out of it. We'll create more jobs by that happening.
Why don't we do it?
We have started in a small... You have seen companies starting to do that much more because of the challenge that we have, especially in Europe. As far as labor is concerned, there is shortage of labor, and labor is also expensive, and also the challenge around fuel. So there is now a quest to shift that from Europe to happen in Kenya. At the moment, we are seeing a few companies now starting to add value here. But if we can move it to a proportion that is quite huge, say 80% of everything we produce can be finished here, we'll get much more value out of what we sell, but also create more jobs for Kenyans. So it will take time. It's about just creating an environment that will attract investors to see what they need to do this end, because it's all about technology now.
What does it take to add value to the flowers? I can see in tea, value addition would be in all those things, blending, and so there's heavy machinery, there's a lot of investment. Flowers, if you're making bouquets, what do you need as an investment to
basically
to
it's the assortment. You need a huge assortment, and that is where we have started moving. Many years ago, we have been known just as a rose growing country. Close to maybe 60, 70, 80% of everything we grew then were roses. But we have seen now a growth in the outdoor flowers. And that means that when you're looking at an assorted bouquet, it has roses, but it has many others. So when we start moving into diversifying our product range, then people will see that we can finish those bouquets here. The other countries I'm talking about, like Netherlands, are attracting flowers from all over the globe, and they are able to mix all these roses from Kenya, but also flowers from elsewhere to create the bouquet that is needed. We have a new generation of consumers who are not just looking at buying roses. They want a flower that has all manner of assorted flowers in that one bouquet. That is what we are missing here. So when we start moving into diversifying our product range, found in Kenya, I think there will be much more value for investors to see that we can finish those products here.
But it's
we are slowly moving towards that as most growers now, many growers who are joining now are moving into the outdoor than just looking at the roses.
So those flowers are actually being grown already. You've mentioned carnations, the lilies, sunflowers, all of these other things that can be grown, because I think that's what has been established the world over, that anybody today who is not going into value add is actually then on the lowest rung of the totem pole here, because you will not be able to be commercially viable if you do not. And we have seen, I know for a fact that there are very many options here in Kenya for that kind of assortment of arrangements. It can be done here, and all the materials are here. Your floral frogs are here, all kinds of things are here, your mesh, all of those things are available in Kenya right now, that you can actually have a finished product ready for the world market in a very short period of time. But I think the same problem, and you can stop me if I'm wrong, the same problem that dogs many other things where we're not able to get our foot off the pedal is to just actually sit up and implement it. We know growing flowers is not like maize. They produce quickly. You harvest fast. You told us you harvest twice a day, So we know that to produce them doesn't take a long period of time. The temperatures are adequate. That's why they do so well here. So the question is, that implementation devil that seems to be sitting on the shoulders of a very many things in our countries is what stops us from just getting it done.
Yeah, that is true.
Why can't we just do it?
Kenya is among the few countries in the world where you can grow flowers commercially. And probably we are just talking about 4 major countries in the world: Kenya, Ethiopia, Colombia, and Ecuador. The altitude that we have on the equator can only be found on those 4 countries, not any other. So when everything is held constant, Kenya will always be a dominant player as far as cut flowers, production of cut flowers and ornamentals for commercially is concerned. So we have a huge potential, and our skills level, I think we could be one of the very best in the world in terms of the skills that we have on growing cut flowers and ornamentals. I always say that the Dutch invented cut flowers, but we have perfected the art of growing it. So our understanding of what we need to do, it's actually unmatched. So it is possible that we can move into all those areas of value addition and even grow almost every kind of flower that you can think about. Very few flowers we cannot do here. Almost 95% of all the flowers that are traded commercially can be grown in Kenya. It's just being able to move that to create an environment where investors see that potential and are able to put in much more resources into doing that. And moving now, we'll not be talking about raw material, we'll be talking about creating finished products, moving right from Kenya straight into the consumer, be it going to a supermarket, be it going to a florist, or be it going to an event or whatever it is. Do you know, if you don't know, that the royal weddings, 2 of them, the flowers that were used in the recent royal weddings were actually grown in Kenya, straight from Kenya. So that is the kind of
so this is what we know we have. So please let me understand, Clement. We globally, our production is over 30% of the global flower production.
Yes.
So we are growing flowers anyway.
Yes.
The only thing we're not doing is diversifying what flowers we are growing. But then you're saying that we need another conducive environment so we can then grow those other flowers. I don't get it. If we are already growing flowers and we're already leading the world in growing flowers, what's making us not grow those other flowers which can grow here?
Yes.
We're just not doing it.
We are not just doing it.
They're just not doing it.
We can't
but
do
that's
it,
you
Eric.
people. I mean, that's not us. It's not us, the citizens. It's not. Is it government?
No.
Is it not you? Is it not your members?
Is being able to attract those kind of investors.
Oh, hang on a minute. So you're saying in order to grow this flowers, which then would make
which are not roses,
diversification process, you need somebody to come and put money in. Flowers which are not roses.
Yes.
You need somebody to come and put money in so that those flowers can be grown here.
Be it Kenyans or non-Kenyans, we all call them investors.
Yeah.
So they need to see the potential that is there. They need to understand their investment if they would get the returns back.
Yeah.
So looking at the business environment, for example, in Kenya and how it's supporting their business becomes very, very crucial. Today we are talking about the investment and business environment.
Yeah.
So there are certain things that we can do to continue attracting much more investment into the sector. A lot of people sometimes ask me, is Ethiopia a competitor? And I say yes. But Ethiopia is only doing half of what Kenya is doing. When everything is held constant, Kenya is still the best place to grow flowers. But we believe that there are certain things that we can do together with government to create an atmosphere or an environment or climate that builds that confidence that indeed Kenya, the investment for anyone who wants to put their money into our sector, they will get back the returns, and there is a guarantee of that return in 10, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years. Our sector is unique because we don't look at short-term benefits. We look at long-term. The people who started investing in the cut flower and ornamental sector many years ago, 30 years ago, are still doing it. And they're looking at another 100 years or 200 years. It's about generational. So it's not about the quick profits. And therefore, that confidence needs to be built among the investors that Kenya is still the best place. And so we can start moving into diversifying, looking at the knowledge that have been built elsewhere on a lot of these flowers, other types of flowers than the roses. We are looking at people investing real money into it.
Let me ask.
Money is a big thing when it comes to our sector. So
I hear you, and
we
I'm
need to be looking at all that. Yes.
But I've got to throw in this question at this point. In the last 10 years, Clement, how many investors have we gotten into the Kenya flower sector?
It's huge. As I said, the local investment for Kenyans has grown tremendously. 10 years ago, probably, we had very few players who are Kenyans.
Okay.
Now we are seeing a move, what we call the smallholders, who are not there. In a lot of cases, flower farms who are large farms. Today, we have Kenyans who have a quarter an acre, 2 acres of flowers. And we are coming in as Kenya Flower Council to support them even on certification so that they can be able to aggregate and access the international market. So that segment, we have seen a growth of Kenyans really investing in it. On the foreign, you can look at our volumes. 10 years ago, we were just exporting about 30,000 tons a year. Today, we are 230,000 tons a year of export. And that tells you that there is much more investment. Of course, like any other business, we have had a few people falling out, but the growth has been much bigger than those who have actually fallen out. We also have seen a move towards consolidation, where we are seeing certain groups now growing, acquiring other farms that are not high performers. And that is just the maturity of the sector. So we can talk about, this farm closed, but out of one farm that closed, 4 actually opened. And that is why our market share has continued to grow. The volumes have continued to grow, and even the revenue has continued to grow. When I came into this sector in 2018, our value in terms of what we were selling was only 82 billion Kenya shillings. Today, we are over 120 billion Kenya shillings. And that just tells you that the trend is upwards in terms of investment.
So there's growth.
Production. Yes.
There's definitely growth. If we just look in the last 10 years, what you've said, the production just from external investors has grown up by 7 times.
Yes.
That means it's a conducive environment for investors to come in and invest.
Yeah.
But you're saying for them to stop investing in roses, we need another more conducive environment. And that's why I'm stuck. I'm just not understanding why we are not able to attract in the last 10 years or in the last 5 years or in the next 5 years to attract people who then come and invest in growing other flowers?
Eric, we
So
need
they
to look
can
at
then grow
we need
our-
to look at the environment in two ways.
Okay.
We have the best ecological conditions for growing flowers. That is not in doubt. Okay? Everyone understands that. But on the other hand, we also have the business investment climate. That is where we need to touch most. The confidence for an investor is looking at, if I invest here, the policies, regulation, and everything, does it guarantee my investment over the next 20, 30, 40 years? That is where we need to touch most. So you need to demarcate those two separately. So on the ecological, environmental, it's perfect. Okay, so we understand that. But on the other hand, we need to have a conducive climate that is based on fiscal planning and money and everything that is conducive for this investor.
Okay.
That is where sometimes is lacking. There was a quest some years back, about 7-8 years back, when Ethiopia opened up and say, oh, the government is here, they will give you land, they will give you that. A lot of people also who are Kenyans, who are investing in Kenya, also moved to Ethiopia to start looking at that and see, is there a possibility of investing? Some of them are still there, but a lot of them also came back to Kenya because sometimes it's not as rosy as you think. Because governments always come in with some promises, sometimes they are fulfilled, sometimes not. And that for an investor, he has always to look at it every day, assessing against the long-term plan they have there for their business. This is the assurance we need to be giving to investors, current investors, and would-be investors in Kenya. Every day we need to be hearing that word of confidence coming both from the sector and the government on the investors, and then it becomes easier for anyone who is looking at investing to look at Kenya. I will also tell you something. A lot of the investors are also vertically integrated. So they're not just looking at their business as it is now. They looking across the supply chain, they have connections with other people, the people who they supply to. And therefore, if we are looking at value addition, for them to transit the processes that happen elsewhere into Kenya, they need that confidence. They need to be sure that as they're scaling up, they are looking at returns on their investment and the stability of that investment for a long period of time. That is what we are calling on the government every day to be reiterating to the investors that Kenya is the best place to invest. We are looking at your interest. We will put plans and policies in place that will safeguard your investment. That will give a lot of confidence for a lot of people to come and invest either in growing or processing or purely value adding on what we are doing. I hope, Eric, I'm making sense. You need to demarcate those two.
Well, can we look at some numbers really quickly? How much is coming into the country because of from the flower sector at the moment?
At the moment is an average of 110 billion Kenya shillings.
110 billion?
Yes.
This is per annum?
Annually.
Okay, 110 billion.
Yes.
Now, with the value add that we speak of, what's the potential that could come into the country?
The potential is that we can move this quickly in 5 years in the realm of about 200 billion.
So it could double. It could double with variety.
It could double.
And value with value add.
Yes.
It could double. So we're looking at another 110 billion.
Yes.
Annually in the next 5 years.
In the next 5-10 years. Yes.
Okay.
We can get there.
So the thing is, here it is, that we say we want to bake a cake. We have all the ingredients to bake a cake, but they're not working together. They're all over the place, but we still want to bake the cake. And we're hoping at the end of the day that we will eat this cake. But then we're just not getting into the kitchen, if you ask me. That's just what's not happening. And everything that you need is right here. We're not even asking people to come from outside. It's right here that this money can actually be mopped up. So I just want to come back to that and say there needs to then be an insistence. It needs to be deliberate to say, look at the kind of, because these are the kinds of monies that Kenya looks for every day to be able to get certain things done. And we are saying that there is a potential in 5 short years, by the time there's another election, that you can actually have this extra money coming into the country on a yearly basis because we tinkered with a few things here and now. And I think that's the bane we don't tinker when we should, and we lose out.
Yeah, that is true. It's simply just what needs to happen is that we have discussions as a sector, as private sector with government. Look at this sector and the potential that is there. Ask ourselves, if we want to get those to those double digits, what do we need to do? And they're not complicated things, I can tell you. For an investor, is simple things that you need to do that you can just touch the button, and it took their mind to think this is the best place for me to continue putting my money in. And therefore, just small things like looking at our sector and saying what kind of tax holidays or rebates can be given in certain areas to be able to spur up these. Are there areas of tax, both with the county government, with national government? Double taxation, for example, does it exist? Small things that we can do in a conversation. And when you touch those things, it becomes much easier. When you look at the entire supply chain, you're asking yourself at every point on production, you need inputs. Yep. What are we doing about it? You need energy, because we are huge consumers of energy. What are we doing about it? You need water. Is there access to water? When you look at logistics, for example, do we have the right logistics to guarantee quick movement of this produce? And when you look at the market, are we doing enough promotion in the market to be able to demonstrate that Kenya is the best place
to invest?
Yeah, to invest. So all those things can be worked on very quickly.
They all
and
come
we
together.
can see a huge difference.
Well, the Cabinet Secretary for Trade, Miti, the Principal Secretary for Investment, they have heard you, and we hope that they'll engage you more and more. Thank you very much. Clement Tilezi, the CEO of the Kenya Flower Council, he's been our guest. Happy Valentine's Day, 8 a.m., time for the news.
For their families and friends, and not flowers or Valentine gifts. Here are views of the residents from Uasin Gishu County.
Watu wanalia, uchumi ni mbaya sana. Hata saa hii ukiangalia hakuna mtu ambaye ako hapa nauliza maua. Wanalia, wanasema kwamba hata watoto wajaenda shule.
Wanakuja lakini ukiwaambia bei anasema na hiyo uchumi yote, hiyo bei yote. So, kuna za tunauza 50 kama hizi live roses 50, kuna za 100, kuna zile ziko na frame, kuna za 350, za 550. Sasa hizo ndo wana complain sana.
Hapa nimekuja kununua maua, nimeona iko mzuri. Kwa hivyo mimi nitanunua hata ikiwa uchumi uko juu, lakini tu nitanunua nifurahie, kwa sababu Mungu alituambia tupendane. Pelekea mtoto yangu kwa sababu nampenda kabisa.
Watu wengi wanafikiri maua unampelekea tu mpenzi wako pekee.
Si lazima upende au upatie mpenzi wako. Yoyote tu napenda, hata mama mkongwe, hata nani.
Sasa unajua sisi kama mimi aswa mwenye sina mrembo, nimetulia tu. Mimi sasa nikubeba wenye wanapendana na wapenda nao. Kwa bodaboda yangu hapa tu nimetulia.
Watu wapendane, wenye wanabaiana maua baiane. Sana sana upande wa maua unabaingi, ukienda naye kwa nyumba unapea mwenye maua, hiyo mambo inaishia hapo. Juu niko job na chenye na bai ndaenda kumfurahisha mwenzangu. Hata kama gharama iko juu, mapenzi huwezi linganisha na gharama. Lazima ubaie mpenzi wako kitu umpelekee.
And tonight, SpiceFM will be bringing you Elegance in Love at the Sarit, your city. Be sure to join us there as we celebrate our loved ones as well. Now, the Council of Governors has opposed the national government's proposal directing Nyeri to start collecting taxes on behalf of county governments. The chairperson of the Committee on Finance and Economic Planning in the Council of Governors, Fernandez Barras, says the proposal is against the laws of county government management. He said that governors will not accept the proposal as it aims to degrade the county apart from violating county laws. He added that the county government have continued to embrace digital collection system that has sealed all the loopholes where money gets lost.
Our counties have been given specific powers in the Constitution and the PFM Act with regard to revenue collection. Largely it is on property and entertainment tax. And when you look at the proposal of having an amendment, having a committee which is chaired by the CS and National Treasury to approve revenues to be collected by counties, again, we can clearly see it as being a systematic attempt to claw back on Devolution.
Traders in Eastleigh, Nairobi clashed with police officers who were conducting a raid at a wholesale store in the area for allegedly stocking contraband milk powder. Business came to a standstill. Transport was disrupted as traders engaged police in rounding battles along Eastleigh where the operation was taking place. Here are residents and area Kamkunji MP Hussein Hassan.
Paka sasa hivi hatuelewi kwa sababu wanasema ni order kutoka juu, hawatuulizi documents zote tunawaonyesha, na hizi mzigo mali imepitia port of entry Mombasa. 80% of it imetoka kutoka Mombasa. Wamelipia customs, wamelipia KRA, wamelipia KEBS, wamelipia dairy board, wako na license ya dairy board.
Saizi hakuna document wanatuonyesha, wanaingia wanavunja my store na hakuna istakbadi yote ambao wako nazo. Wanavunja na mkono yao kwa nguvu. Sasa huko ndani.
Kama serikali imepiga marufuku maziwa ya powder, iwaambie hawa wafanyabiashara maziwa ya powder ya aina hiyo ni haramu. Huwezi kufanya biashara naye. Waambie wazi ili hawa wafanyabiashara wasipate hasara.
Detectives from the DCI headquarters who are leading the multi-agency operation managed to arrest one person who was alleged to be involved in the business of selling contraband goods in the area. And 9 miners are missing after landslide at a gold mine operation in eastern Turkey. The mine in Erzan province is operated by Lydia Menkelik and owned by Turkey-based Kalik Holding and Toronto-listed SSR Mining. Rescue workers are looking for the missing miners. The government said it has launched investigations into the incident. This is Newswire. I'm Dennis Aseto. Happy Valentine's to you.
102.5 SpiceFM, Kisumu.
Few minutes after 8 o'clock, and traffic busy in the city this morning. Coming off of Thika Superhighway is quite busy. As you touch on that, Allsops Junction looks like it'll be that way for a while. Let's hop on over to the eastern side of things and see, as you're coming from Cabanas towards North Airport Road, it's busy touching on Outer Ring as you head out in the general direction of the Thika Superhighway. All right, what else are we looking at? It was heavy coming off of Waiyaki Way earlier, still is, and we'll see as you come in from James Gishiro, that club's up for you just a little bit. We're in traffic hour now. Let's see what happens as we get out of it. We'll talk on SpiceFM KE on X, hashtag The Situation Room.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is the Situation Room.
Valentine's Day, it's the only way that you're going to end your day. Because tonight at the Sarit, your city car park, Wahoo, Nameless will be there. And other lovers will be there. People will be sitting. There'll be food being served. There'll be drinks being served. There'll be gifts being gifted. There'll be flowers being flown.
Well, gotta give it to you. Yes, they will. The Elegance in Love cocktail dinner takes place tonight. You've been waiting for it, haven't you? You've bought your tickets. And if you haven't, you still have a chance to do that. Dinner starts at 6 p.m. tonight. Yes, Wahoo and Nameless will be crooning those fantastic love ballads for you. If you've not bought your ticket, run over to www.ticketsasa.com. Buy your tickets. 3,000 shillings just for you, 5,500 shillings for you and your other, and then 10,000 shillings for you and your very, very other. You can figure that out for yourself. You know, we're not going to ask. We will not judge. Or your otherwise. We will not judge. We will not ask hard questions. You know, do your thing. Today will allow you to do that. And we want you to get dressed in burgundy and gold. You know, fantastic. Come out, enjoy a night of great music and entertainment. Fantastic food, a 3-course dinner. And then, you know, dance the night away. And enjoy, at the very least, this one day in love.
At the very, very least.
At the very, very least.
Okay.
If it continues to tomorrow, we thank God.
Tomorrow is a working day.
Today is also the beginning of Lent.
Oh.
Today is Ash Wednesday.
I've seen a story here. Are we celebrating?
Today is the beginning of Lent, so just be remembering.
It's Ash Wednesday as well.
Yes.
Okay, that's why City is not here. He would have had a problem saying Ash Wednesday.
He knows why.
He decided Ash Wednesday.
Too much pressure.
I am not going to be put on the spot to say Ash Wednesday. No way. No way. Josephine Anan Ankoma is our next guest in the studio. She is a regional executive boss for Central, East and Southern Africa, and also the MD, EcoBank Kenya. Good morning, Josephine.
Hello, good morning, Eric. It's
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day to you too.
Mm-hmm. We love you very much. So
I can feel the love in the air.
You can, eh?
I can.
You're lucky because not every day that he's like this.
You see, with all the flowers, and it's just a
concentrate
happy vibe.
All. You dish it out on one day and then the rest of the day to Malizane.
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome. We're here to tell you about EcoBank. So, Ndu, for example, I would tell her EcoBank.
Did you know?
The Pan-African Bank.
Did you know?
Tell me.
EcoBank, 35 countries in Africa. There's representation of EcoBank. Over 14,000 employees. Also representation of EcoBank in other countries in the world. China, the UK, France, the United Arab Emirates. Did you know that in Kenya there are very many branches as well as express agents of EcoBank? Did you know that if you left Nairobi, for example, and were going to take up a job in South Africa, you don't need to close your account.
No, you don't.
You just need to keep on moving and you can continue with seamless transactions. In fact, it's a better way. It's a better Africa. Did you know this?
Josephine, did you know?
Well, we've just embarked on this campaign, and I think you've done my work for me already. So yes, it's EcoBank. It's a better way. It's a better Africa.
For a better future.
Exactly.
We're going to be discussing that shortly. Citi has been supported by EcoBank in the last couple of weeks to go across Africa. Every week he goes into one African country and then he brings us proverbs from that African country. He is not in today. He's doing very many things. First, he's a keynote speaker at the men's conference. Plus, he's avoiding to be here to say Ash Wednesday. Plus, many other things. But the proverb this week, the proverbs are from Angola. Today's Angolan proverb, and I want you to listen and give us your interpretation of it. The squirrel does not talk back to the elephant. What's your interpretation?
My immediate thoughts are, you look at who you are, and then you size up your opponent, and you determine what you can and what you cannot do. So, like you would say in my language, you assess yourself, and then you determine what you can do, what fights to pick, what not to pick up, and then, just stay in your lane and do what you do and what you can do best. That's my initial thought.
Bottom line,
yes.
Stay in your lane.
Yes.
Stay in your lane. Okay. So all those African countries, 35 of them, and those countries outside of Africa, China, France, the UK, and the UAE, how many years are we talking about? How old is EcoBank?
EcoBank started in 1985. So EcoBank is 39 years old, and next year across Africa would be 40. We started operation in Togo, in Lomé. It's where we started, and we spread across West Africa, and from there spread through East, through Central Africa, and to Southern Africa. So we currently cover 35 markets. We are the bank with the largest footprint across Africa. And then we have operations in the UK. We'd have a banking license in Paris, in France. So we have a bank in Paris. We have a representative office in South Africa, a representative office in Ethiopia. We also are in Beijing. And like we said, we're in Dubai. So we have quite a spread, we have quite a reach across Africa. And one thing we pride ourselves in is the fact that through one country, you have immediate access to 35 markets across Africa, and that's who we are as EcoBank.
I'm curious as to why go into so many countries in Africa as one bank. Why? I mean, it sounds nice, but, what was the intent behind that?
The intent behind us doing this, really, it sits at the core of who we are and what we want to be in Africa, which is to facilitate financial integration, economic development across Africa. You can't do that without being present. I mean, there's one thing sitting outside somewhere and saying, I want to be part of solving for the problem, part of contributing to development. And you do that best by being there at the grassroots with the people, understanding who they are, what their challenges are, and then bringing your strengths to bear to take advantage of those opportunities and solve for the problem. So yes, we are in 35 markets across Africa, not just for the fun of it, but as a way of connecting Africa together. And one thing that makes us unique as EcoBank is that we operate as a banking group, not as a group of banks. So each of these 35 markets are not separate. We are tied together, should I say, the umbilical cord with a technology platform that enables us to transact seamlessly, simultaneously in all of these 35 currencies across Africa. So if I'm sitting here as an expatriate in Kenya, for example, and I need to pay my daughter's school fees in Sierra Leone or in Rwanda, at the touch of a button from my Kenya shillings account here, I can debit that account, yes, subject to exchange controls, and send that money across instantly to my son or my daughter's account or to the school's account, whether it's in Rwanda, in Sierra Leone, in Zimbabwe, wherever, and pay instantaneously. That is the beauty of EcoBank. The fact that we seamlessly connect the whole of Africa through this technology platform that works for all of us instantaneously across our market. So we are here to solve for the challenges of Africa, and we believe that the best way to do that is to be present in the countries where the issues are and to solve with them. So whether it's a coup, whether it's war, whatever it is, we are there and we stay. That's who we are.
Yeah, it's interesting because this campaign, I would like to get into the details of that. But is it because an hour ago we just had a conversation about why are we not able to connect in Africa, whereby there are certain things that are required of us here and there, and it seems that as though you've been able to solve that issue by being present, 35 different markets, being able to have broken past the barriers of control, broken past the barriers of trade, and then having been able to do that when many other industries have not been able to do that. What are some of the things that has allowed you then to be able to be present? This network, like you said, it's not a group of banks, it's,
a banking group.
A banking group. But then there are many controls which other people, other industries also are suffering from, but seem to not able to break through. What did you do?
One thing that is strong, we believe in as EcoBank is, it's a proverb, let me say it's a bit cliche. If you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go together. That's us, we want to go far. So one way we have done this is to partner with like-minded organizations like ourselves who are breaking through the barriers that we are trying to break through. We partner with them to then solve for the problems in the countries where we find ourselves. So whether it's with a telco, whether it's with a fintech, whether it's with a payment services organization, whether it's with somebody who's offering a digital solution, whether it's with SMEs, whether it's with women, whether it's with governments, we bring our convening power to bear and work with these partnerships who think like us, who see like us, who feel like us, to partner to develop these products together. So in most of our markets across Africa, we would be in partnerships with almost all of the telcos that are there in those markets to provide solutions such as, airtime top-up, bill payments, school fees payments. What does the customer want to do? And what do we have? and what do we not have, and who do we partner with
to get it,
to bring this solution. So really, that thinking of partnership strategically is what has been one of the brilliant and success stories that we've had across the continent.
I'm sure when it began, it must have begun at one area of focus, and then over the number of years, it's developed and expanded. So did EcoBank begin as an SME bank, as a retail bank, as a corporate bank? Which was it?
From
1985.
In 1985, we in Togo, we started off as a bank that was largely corporate, but we quickly saw that there was much more than corporates in across Africa. So as we began our expansion across Africa, especially starting from West Africa, we dealt with all of the customer segments. So I would say that right from inception, we've dealt with 3 customer segments with our consumer banking clients, who are the individuals across Africa. We have dealt with our SMEs and our local corporates, homebred local industries, and we've also dealt with our multinationals. And across in all of the markets where we are, we also deal with our government. So we've always dealt with the 3 customer segments that we have in all of our markets and tailored our solutions to speak to and meet their needs.
As you move from one country to another, you're moving from one jurisdiction to another. You find, we are still within Africa, but then the laws in that country, the regulations in that country, the controls by the central bank in that country could be different from where you've come from. How do you navigate from one country to the next so that then in the back end, you are still offering the same seamless solution? But of course, in the we know, in the front end, it's the same seamless, but in the back end, you're dealing with a myriad of challenges.
So we in each of the markets, in each of our markets, we respect the regulation in the market.
Okay.
So I can't come from Zimbabwe and say that in Zimbabwe, this is what the central bank requires, and therefore I apply the same for Kenya. And neither can I say, this is how it's done in Nigeria, and therefore when I go to Cote d'Ivoire, that's how it's done. No.
Okay.
We work with the central banks in each of our markets. So yes, there's a front end of a foreign exchange transaction. But in Ghana, for example, you cannot transfer $10,000 out of the country without documentation. It's the same service of transferring money out, but you'll configure your mobile app, you would configure your online banking platform, which is OmniLite for us, or OmniPlus, to ensure that regulation is met. In another country, for example, within the UEMOA zone, you cannot just easily transact foreign currency. They deal the safer. So it's the same service, but at the back end, I tweak it to meet the local regulation. So in every country, the local regulation first. What does a regulator in my country want me to do first? And then at the back end, how do I then ride on the back of those rails to ensure that I meet the needs of my customer? So we've dealt with 33, 35 regulators across our markets. That is why we say we know Africa.
Right.
And we've been there in 15, out of the 35 markets we operate in 15 of them we are top 3. In 7 of those markets, we are number 1. So this is who we are as Africa, and it's based on our understanding of these markets, running them over the last 40 years, working closely with them. There are times when we feel some regulation may be a bit too challenging. It's not too helpful to solve for the problems. We sit with the regulator and say, how can we work together to make this work? Of course, respecting your policy, what you want to do, but also putting the customer first and saying, how do we still work together despite this challenge to deliver? So at the end of the day, the customer is at the center, and then you work with your partners to deliver, to solve for the issue that the customer is looking for you to solve.
So from an individual customer's point of view, all right, I come from Nigeria and I have an account with EcoBank in Nigeria. I come to Nairobi. Would you ask me then to go through again, or can I just connect and continue as though nothing happened? What would I need to do? How would I operate?
Yeah, it depends on what you want to do. So for example, we have the EcoBank mobile app. This mobile EcoBank mobile app is the same across all of our markets. So today, I'm Ghanaian. I sit here, I have a CD account. So I have my mobile app that points to my CD account. Within that mobile app, whichever account I have anywhere, I used to work in Togo, so I have an account in Togo. I am in Kenya, I have an account in Kenya. So depending on what I want to do, for example, my kids want to buy yogurt from Togo. I just go onto the mobile app, debit my account, credit. But at the end of the day, the back end of that solution has the regulation to make sure that I don't transact above the regulatory limit.
Okay.
So back to your question, if you want to utilize your Naira account whilst you are here in Kenya, you don't need to open a
new
Naira
account or don't need to come and open a new account
because
Kenya.
The mobile app allows you to transact from that account. But then if you want to transact in Kenya shillings,
I have to open
you
a
would
Kenya
open
account.
a Kenya shilling account. But that account gets linked to your mobile app.
Right.
So that it's like your wallet. Wherever you go, whichever account you want to access, whether you are in the UK, you are in Ireland, you are in China, so far as you have data, that account is accessible to you. And then you can transact seamlessly across. If you didn't have, one of the beauties we have is what we call a token. So, for example, if my driver is stuck, somewhere a driver is stuck somewhere in Sierra Leone, that person does not have an account with EcoBank, but is in urgent need of money. I issue a token from my mobile app, send that token via SMS to that person. Look for your nearest EcoBank ATM, go in without a debit card, using just that token, I'm able to access money in the currency of the country where I'm drawing from. So that our presence means a lot for financial inclusion across Africa. And whether you have an account with EcoBank or you don't have an account with EcoBank, so far as you have somebody that is plugged into the EcoBank network, you have access. You have access. For example, we have a product that we call the cross-border rapid transfer. So today, if I am a distributor, I manufacture edible oils in Kenya, and I have distributors who are in Rwanda and in Tanzania, wherever they are, and they want to transfer money to me because from products they have bought. So far as they're within that EcoBank network and they have EcoBank accounts, they can transfer money to me instantaneously without going through SWIFT because we have built that platform. So really, that's the power in what we are able to do across Africa because of this platform that we have built. Over 40 years.
So all of this points to a better way, a better Africa. So what is this campaign about, and why?
So we've said that as EcoBank, our raison d'etre, why we are who we are, is basically to bring about financial integration, economic development across Africa. And we've been known everywhere as the Pan-African Bank. As we enter into 2024 and as we work together with our new Group Chief Executive Officer, everybody knows Jeremy Awori, we are refreshing our brand and refreshing what we are bringing to the market. And we think that as we do this, we need to look at a better way to connect to our customers, a better way to serve our customers, and through that, a better way to ensure we have a better Africa. So this campaign is really emphasizing who we are and what we bring to the table, but make us conscious of the fact that the customer is at the center of everything that we do, and we need to continuously innovate, continuously rethink of how we deliver better to these valuable customers across our network that we deal with. So really, that's why we've launched this campaign.
It's like you said, it's both futuristic, both eye-opening, and a big challenge as well. You are basically taking on a huge challenge to say we want to increase connectivity, we want to increase seamless business transactions, seamless transfer of money within Africa, seamless life within Africa. At what cost? Are you prepared? What are the risks? Because I'm sure you've looked at the risks. What are those risks? Is it economic risk? Is it political risk? What are those risks?
I would flip it the other way and say, what are the opportunities?
Of course you are going to do that. Well trained.
What are the opportunities? And how effective is this? And how relevant and impactful will this be? If as an African organization run by African for Africa, we are able to work with partners like us to think through how we serve our customers better, how we connect with them better, connect to them better, how we solve for Africa's future better, then I think that would have been meaningful. We would have said, yes, what does success look like? It looks like Africa solving Africa's problem together with partners that think and look, that think and feel and identify with who and what we are. So we believe that it's time. Yes, we believe we've already laid the foundation in terms of making the investments in our presence, in our technology platform, in our people, in products that we have rolled out, but it's always the thing of you ossify and become irrelevant when you think you've done it all. So refresh, rethink, and then go back to the market to see how you can do it better. So yes, a better way, a better Africa to connect to and to serve our customers.
Right. 29 minutes to 8, coming up to 8:30. Time for us to take that Keringet break. Josephine, there's some water for you. Keringet tells you own your richness. You say that you're talking about Africa, Pan-African. Now Keringet is basically saying from that richness that's Africa, bring it to the richness that's Kenya. Take it to the richness that is in an area called Keringet in Nakuru County. And the water comes from the rocks. It's filtered through the rocks. It's bottled at source. It has all the natural minerals that are good for you. So when you take the Keringet water and you take any other water, you can tell the difference. Water is not just water.
Yeah.
Water has tastes.
It does.
Own your richness with Keringet. We'll be back shortly. Good morning. Our guest this morning is Josephine Ananankoma. She is Regional Executive, Central Eastern Southern Africa, and also the MD for EcoBank Kenya.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
It's critical that people pay taxes. But then taxation has to have a limit. When you start overtaxing people beyond certain limit, then this is now we call robbery with violence.
We are all struggling, but we don't show. If you're not doing well, shame on you. But you have to say, I'm broke and I'm struggling. We are not okay until everybody is okay.
We are pretending to have political parties. Why don't we just be honest? And we say, these are the Luyas, these are the Kambas, these are the Kikuyus, and we find ourselves in Kenya.
With politics and leadership, no matter what you do, there will always be a complaint. There will always be the assumption that you're either stealing or you're not doing things right. As a leader, don't fear. If you know you're doing the right thing, you've thought about it, you've got an expert advice, do it, then understand later.
This country, we don't need prayers. Prayers is between you and God. Good governance and thinkers who care about the country and not their stomach.
That's what we need.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
The weather with
at 18 degrees, we'll see highs of 27 and highs of 29 in a sunny Nakuru. At 18, it's 15 and sunny in Nyeri with highs of 28, and we'll see highs of 27. Sunny conditions at 16 in Eldoret. It's 29 and sunny in Mombasa. We'll see highs of 33 through Wednesday, and we'll see highs of 33 as well in a mostly sunny Malindi at 29. It's 23 and sunny in Kisumu with highs of 30, and we'll see highs of 32 in a sunny Kakamega, currently at 22. Out in Kampala, it's cloudy at 22. Dar es Salaam is sunny at 29. And we're looking at sunny conditions at 20 in Johannesburg. It's sunny at 29 in Mogadishu and 15 and cloudy in Addis Ababa. Lagos is partly cloudy at 27. And at 23, Kinshasa is mostly cloudy.
Spice up your life.
All right, it's been a busy morning in Nairobi. We're looking at heavy traffic still coming off the Thika Superhighway. As you come towards Survey, still, it's going to be chock-a-blocked until you get to that junction. That's going to lead you then towards Wangari Maathai. And even that, there's traffic, and it connects with Limuru Road. So very, very busy there. As you get to the Globe Cinema overpass, you're also going to deal with the bumper-to-bumper situation. On Uhuru Highway, it's busy as you get to your different junctions. Am I looking at the right road? But anyway, look, it's traffic. It doesn't matter where you look. Right about now, yes, that is actually Uhuru Highway. It's also very busy coming off Langata Road. Some of that will join with Raila Odinga Way. Gong Road is busy, as it is coming out of Hurlingham. So we're looking at quite some traffic this morning. My goodness. James Gishoro, Ring Road Westlands, Waiyaki Way. All of that. So you might want to think about, well, here's an option. Use the Red Hill Link Road, enjoy the scenic view, and then come round, Thigiri, and then battle with what's left on Limuru Road. There's options for you. Let's talk on SpiceFM KE on X, #TheSituationRoom.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.
Anan Ankoma, she is from EcoBank. She's the MD EcoBank Kenya and also regional executive boss for Central, East and Southern Africa. A better way, a better Africa for a better future. That's what we're talking about in this new campaign. There's connectivity across the continent, and then there's how to access, like you said, as an individual consumer, and I want to just access and I have an account with EcoBank, I can either, go onto my mobile platform, I can use the internet banking, I can walk into a branch, I can use the ATM cards, or I can go into an agent. Mm-hmm. Tell us about agency banking, your network, and why and how it works.
As I've said, as EcoBank, we believe in partnership, and we believe that the quickest route to market is through that, so you can achieve scale quickly. So we partner with agencies across our markets to offer banking services, and what we do is to contract them to sell our products, and it could be to deposit money, to cash money, to pay a bill, to pay school fees, and in some of our markets, you can open accounts through that. We have over 110,000 agents and counting across, and here in Kenya, we have close to 200, and we're looking to bring this to 1,000 by the end of this year. What agency banking does is to offer convenience, and it's key to our focus on financial inclusion, because for financial inclusion to work, the financial service has to be available. It has to be at a price point that a customer can afford, and then it has to be accessible. And so by partnering we have 16 branches here in Kenya. If we want to get 1 million customers, we can't have all of them coming to our branch. Yeah. So then we partner with, whether it's a pharmacy, whether it's a supermarket, whether it's an agency that has outlets where we are not, then that gives that connection between us and our customers. So yes, that person is fronting for EcoBank, but is more in touch, more closer to the ground where our customers are. And then that provides that access and that convenience to our customers, and gives them the ability to touch, to access our banking products. Exactly.
How different is the cost of accessing that service from when I use a mobile app, when I use the internet banking, when I come to the branch, when I go to the agent?
There's no cost to you as a customer. The EcoBank bears the cost, the agency cost. So it's the same as you've walked into an EcoBank branch or you've transacted on our platform. And there is no additional cost. What the benefit it gives to you is the convenience. The convenience and the speed with which you can access those services. So yes, we are big on partnerships, and agency banking is one of the key drivers of scale and access in the markets where we operate, and here in Kenya as well.
As I hear you say the things you do from the beginning of this conversation in terms of being present in these different markets, and then being available to customers at an individual level, at a corporate level, one of the questions that comes to mind then is sustainability of the things that you started to do as a bank across the continent. What's the guarantee that in 50 years to come, this will still be here even better than it is today? Sustainability is an issue for us sometimes, is it not? So what's that guarantee of sustainability?
I think it then speaks to what we are doing today, which is sitting back and saying, for 40 years we've done this, and it has given us results. It has made us top 3 in 15 of the 33 markets that we have banking licenses, and the other 2 where we have representative offices. So over 40 years we've done it. We've had a lot of ups, a few downs here and there. So this is an opportunity for us to sit down and think again, to say, well, the next 40 and the next 40 and the next 40 till Jesus comes, will EcoBank still be here? And we believe the answer is yes, because we always consider what is the quickest route to market, and what is the most efficient way to do this for the customer and in terms of cost for us. So we've invested a lot in technology. When we started off this journey of rethinking and reimagining the way we work around 2015, we said at the point we had over 1,000 branches. And we said for us to achieve speed, to achieve scale, we can't continue growing because we are 33 million customers today across. Here in Kenya, we are close to about 500,000 customers. We want to be at 1 million customers by the end of the year. Across the group, we want to move from 33 million to 100 million. So if you do the ratio customer per branch, we may have to maybe put up 1 million other customer branches. And that is not cost efficient because it costs money to put up that brick and mortar. So then we say, how do we deliver the same service in a seamless way, in a way that is accessible to the customer at the best cost? And that is why then we began investing in these technology platforms and entering into partnerships to help us to scale. So if you ask me whether EcoBank will be sustainable in the next 40, in the next 40, in the next 40, my answer to you is a strong yes. Because we're always rethinking and reimagining how we meet the need of the customer in a way that is efficient, riding on the back of technology instead of, old-fashioned brick and mortar. Yes, brick and mortar will be there, but you need to rethink, reinvent all the time to become relevant.
How do you know what a customer needs? I think a lot of times there's the assumption that an institution that deals with the financials is aware of what the customer needs. And maybe not. Maybe not.
Yeah.
So how have you gotten to know? Because you talked about several things. So I need to pay the bills. I need to pay school fees. I need to get certain things done. And I need to be able to do that whilst I'm doing other things.
Exactly.
Isn't it? So how do you get to know that these are the things that are needed, and then you now provide those solutions where somebody is at their point?
The beginning of our manufacturing process starts with the customer. And I must say that we didn't get it right from the beginning, where we would sit as a bank and we determine that I think the customer needs to pay money, and for the customer to pay money, they must come to my branch. And I open from 8 to 4, in some markets from 8 to 5. And so if I'm a nursing mother and I have to pick up my child from school at 6 and I need money, then tough. Come to EcoBank the next day. Now that doesn't work. So how we manufacture our product is talk to the customer. What do I want to do, and how do I want to do it? And what tools do I have as a customer? Because, for example, if I offer you a mobile app with a solution that can only work on a smartphone and cannot work on a feature phone, I have solved the problem maybe for a third, a fourth of my customer base. What happens to the rest? So we also look at what does the customer have. If I'm talking about access, and I'm saying you can reach EcoBank everywhere, a better way to connect, but then you have to drive through the traffic. I hear you talk about traffic for an hour to get to EcoBank. Have I solved your problem? No. So then I ask myself, who else is there? If I am not there, who else is there? Am I providing you with an ATM? Is it through an internet banking platform? Is it through an agency point that I'm partnering with? So we solve for the customer's problem by talking to the customer, finding out what the customer wants. For example, if an SME wants to borrow from me, and I ask the SME to come in and say, give me 3 years financial statements. This SME does not have accounts. He doesn't have an auditor. They just started. So what do I do as EcoBank? I look at who is this SME providing a service for? And how is that anchor client, like I will call it, paying the SME? And how do I ensure that I have a way of making sure that that money is routed through me, so that on the back of that contract, whose receivables I'm sure of, I can lend to that SME without going through the traditional way of financial analysis, spreads, bring me this, bring me that. So look at who your customer is, what they have, and then solve for that problem from their point of view and not from your point of view. I think that as we get to do that better, then a better way to connect, a better way to serve, a better future for Africa then becomes even more impactful and even more meaningful.
Just when you said we talk to our customer, we listen to our customer, how exactly do you do that? Is it, for example, with the example that you've just given, a customer comes in with a need, and then you immediately think on your feet and provide a solution, and then you make that solution common solution? Do you conduct surveys? Do you hold public barazas? Do you conduct polls, focus groups? How do you listen to the customer, and how regularly do you do this?
Yeah, we do that through all the channels you're talking about. It can be getting to a room with university students at the University of Nairobi and say, what are your challenges? What do you want to do? How do you want to be able to assess maybe the government scholarship? What makes sense for you? Do you want to spend your time in a queue at a banking hall? And that is how our relationship with Fingo started. Fingo really is focused on finance on the go for the youth. They didn't want to go into a banking hall 8-10 hours, waiting to sign with paper. No. So Fingo came up with a concept of 4 minutes. Just my phone and then a verified national ID. I open a bank account wherever I am. And immediately I'm able to start transacting, riding on the that's why it's Fingo powered by EcoBank, riding on the rails. So this is a youth, a young person who has experienced how difficult it is to access banking services, comes to us, speaks to us and says, I have this idea. I want to do this, but I don't have the technology platform to get this done. And I don't have the ability to scale across 33 markets after it has worked in Kenya. Can you help me do this? So we are in partnership with Fingo. And over a period of, let's say, we launched this in March this year. We have over 110,000 customers on the platform today and counting. So it's identifying the need, speaking to somebody who thinks like you, and then developing and solving for. So whether it's a survey, it's direct contact, it's a poll, it's the customer at the center first, and then you work backwards from there.
Do you innovate products that are ahead of regulation?
Yes and no. Because at the end of the day, your product has to fit within the regulation. So yes, you may have something that is ahead of where the regulation is. What then we do is to sit with the regulator and bridge the gap, so that by the time we launch, there is regulation to back it, because you operate within a context, and you cannot be ahead of that regulation. You have to be within the context of that regulation. So it is that talking to, that engagement prior to speaking to the prior to launching. And then, having that alignment with that regulator and therefore going ahead to launch. So yes, sometimes we think ahead, but we ensure that we carry our regulators along so that we have the right approvals before we go to market.
You're dealing with 39 regulators, 35 in Africa.
Yes, 35.
So sometimes you may come up with a product that you actually harmonize very well with one regulator, but then the other regulator is a bit too slow, if you know what I mean. So that then means that you cannot roll out that product in that particular market.
Yeah.
How do you navigate through those?
So you start with where you can, and you continue the engagement. And what you do is to show them the proof of concept, because at the end of the day, in Africa, we are solving for almost the same thing. So if I can make a payment seamless in Sierra Leone, and I can tell the government in Sao Tome that this works, and these are the benefits, and this is how it helps financial integration and economic development and financial inclusion in your country. I have a case, I have a proof of concept. I've done it, dusted, got the T-shirt, and I can bring it to you. So yes, there are times when we can scale across all of the 33 markets. For example, when I was, before this role, I was a group executive for commercial banking, and we launched Elevate by EcoBank, our gender financing program. Women have needs across Africa. We were able to scale that simultaneously one day across all of our 33 markets. It's different with other products, where some regulators allow, some do not. But at EcoBank, compliance is first. Compliance is first before you come to the next line. And so we never go ahead of the regulator. We carry them along until we are both aligned, and then we go to market.
Does the market you go to as an individual customer, consumer of the product, differ in terms of experience? If I'm in Freetown and then I'm somewhere else tomorrow, will my experience be different because I'm in a different country?
No, the experience should not, and largely it's not different, because we operate. That's why I say we are a banking group and we are not a group of banks. So we have a set of policies that guide us. So for example, we have one dress code. Anywhere you go across EcoBank, you would see us dressed this way. It's either black, it's navy blue, it's coffee brown, those dark colors with with pales in between. Men, women, so you have that. If it's an HR policy, it's a one. It's the way our credit process, it's one. Our compliance framework, it's one. So we have one. We are one bank. Our technology platform, it's one. So the experience will not be different. Your mobile app, whether you download it in Sao Tome or you download it in South Sudan or in Accra or in Nigeria, it's the same in terms of its functionality. It may have different billers. For example, you may have the Electricity Corporation of Ghana on my Ghana app, but then you will have its counterpart in Sao Tome. So the services are the same, the face of it are the same, the products and it's been localized, but the experience you will get will be the same. How our banking halls are set up, the way we serve our customers, our ATMs, the card that you would use. We have one bank that, kind of gives you an EcoBank feel everywhere you go, with a few tweaks here and there,
Banking is different because of sometimes, when you think about religion, culture, and others. For example, Islamic banking. Now, you operate in some countries which are predominantly Muslim. So do you have those products that are tailored to that market because of religious considerations?
Yes.
For example, you in the UAE, and then others where you don't?
Yes, we do. We
How
do.
so?
So in some of our markets, I know, for example, in Chad, I think, for example, in Mali, in countries where they are predominantly Muslim, we do offer Islamic banking services, and it's something that we're looking to do as well here in Kenya to cater for the myriad of customers that we cater to. So in some of our markets, we do have Islamic banking services that cater to the needs of that customer segments. Yes.
You said you want to ask yourself, in 40 years, will EcoBank be here? And you said an absolute yes.
Yes.
I can also tell you, in 40 years, from what we've seen, read, and the projections are, in 40 years, Africa will be the place. The largest population will be in Africa. The youngest population will be in Africa. The highest number of consumers will be in Africa. The greatest amount of trade will be in Africa. So as a bank that's already looking at that, then you're already ahead and preparing for that 40-year eventuality. The challenge, as is being discussed now, is on the currencies and the transfer of currencies. The Africa Continental Free Trade Area is looking at, okay, so let's make one trading block, that's Africa. But there's still the issue of moving cedi to naira to shilling, must it first of all become CD to dollar to naira, CD to dollar to shilling? How are you dealing with that?
Yeah, at least in some, it's been solved in some of the regional blocks. In UEMWA, French-speaking West Africa, there's one currency. Within the CIMAC zone, there is one currency. And we've seen the benefits that brings to bear. And the ideal of having a single currency, like the euro, that, then really ensures that we are really connected and can have really what we call borderless banking. It's where we are working towards as Africa. What we are doing as EcoBank to facilitate this is to provide that platform on which this will run. So today, the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System, EcoBank is plugged into that. And we are bringing the technology that currently allows us today. It's not an experiment. It works. For me to move Kenya shilling to Ghana cedi, to Naira, to CFA, to ZAF, it exists today. You can download the EcoBank app and do that transaction today. So we have that technology, and we're bringing that to bear to help to drive, this ideal of creating that single market where we as Africans trade amongst ourselves in a seamless and in a borderless way, and we are part of that discussion. We are front and center of that discussion, and we are waiting, for that to happen. But whilst we wait for it to be perfected, today,
you're already offering
that trade is that is possible.
So you're playing a role as market leader, as thought leader. Are you also playing a role in leading future policy and how maybe financial transactions should look like in the future, talking to governments and playing the advocacy role?
Yes, we do.
How?
Yes, we do. And it's one of the roles that we play as a regional executive. I do that. As Group Chief Executive, Jeremy Arori does that. I can give an example, of what we did during COVID from Lome, working together with the African Union, where we said, yes, it's a difficult time. SME businesses are struggling. How can we help during this period? So we launched, working together with AU NEPAD, Elder NEPAD, a training platform, working together with some consultants to offer virtual training, a virtual SME academy, which we rolled across 8 markets simultaneously and trained over 4,000 SMEs during an 8-week period. So this is us talking to a powerful, force in Africa, the AU, and saying, how do we solve for a problem that is common across our markets? And it could be talking about regulation. It could be talking about financial inclusion. It could be talking about women and how we empower them more. Today, we are working together with, we signed an MOU with the Africa Development Bank under their AFAWA initiative on how we can better serve and better bank women. So wherever, because we have this widest footprint and are in touch of with, let's say, about 2/3 of governments in where we operate, that talk, that engagement is constantly happening. And we bring in learnings from other markets into others to help to enrich the conversation and to ensure that we do have indeed a better Africa.
What's to be said to an individual today who's thinking, all right, so what do I do? Looking into the future where it's possible that my banking needs will take me across the continent, or rather, career needs will take me across the continent, and then I need banking needs to suit that. What would be the thing that you would say today to bring them onto this side?
I would say EcoBank is open for business and we are your best partner. So whether you are a young Kenyan looking to do business in Kenya but across Africa, you can download the Fingo app. Within 4 minutes, you open an account. You begin transacting here in Africa and you are plugged into 33 markets. If you are an SME and you are exporting goods from Kenya into Uganda and you're looking for a way to pay, EcoBank is there for you. We have what we call our Rapid Collect product that enables you to pay the person you are selling to pay into your account at EcoBank in whichever country you are in. So if I'm in Uganda and my supplier is in Kenya, I can pay into my Kenya suppliers account from Uganda without carrying cash across. If I'm a local corporate and I'm exporting and doing business across multiple countries in Africa, I say EcoBank is your partner, because of this network, we allow instantaneous payments in African currencies across any of the markets in these 33 countries that you may be operating in. If you are a bank in Kenya and you are looking to do business in Sierra Leone, in Cameroon, in Ivory Coast, in Senegal, and you don't have a presence there, you don't have to build a branch there. Come to EcoBank. We are in those markets. So we're able to issue the bid bond, the performance guarantee, whatever your client needs, you can work through us. If you are a government and you're looking to solve, we have solved problems for a lot of governments and worked with them, to provide solutions. EcoBank is ready for business. And we say, come in, open an account with us, and be ready to transact. And we're happy to have you. If you're a woman-owned business, Elevate for EcoBank is ready for you. If you are an SME, we have bespoke SME products that speak to your need. So whoever you are, if you're an expatriate sitting here and finding out how am I able to seamlessly transfer money in any of the 33 markets, you don't have to bother. Open an account with EcoBank, you download your mobile app or get onto any of our internet banking platforms, and seamlessly from Kenya, you are able to take care of your family and your business outside of Kenya in any of these markets. So EcoBank is ready for business, and we are happy to have you.
Well said. Josephine Anan Ankoma is the Regional Executive Lead for Central, East and Southern Africa, and also the MD, EcoBank Kenya. She's been our guest this Valentine's Day morning. Keep it here for more conversations, 9 a.m.
Spice up your life.
Good morning, this is Newswire. I'm Dennis Asato. Fugitive murder suspect Kevin Kinyanjui Kang'ethe, who was rearrested after dramatically escaping police custody, is expected to be arraigned in court today. Now, Kang'ethe was arrested at Mbulbul in Ngong as he sought refuge at one of his relatives' home. Nairobi Police Boss Adamson Bungane confirmed the rearrest. He was brought to Nairobi under heavy security ahead of arraignment. Now, police had focused on Ngong after all indications showed that he was in the area. Kang'ethe escaped from Muthaiga Police Station on February 7th in an incident that shocked many. He was awaiting extradition on a Massachusetts warrant. He was arrested in Westlands on January 30th and was to be extradited when he escaped from custody. Kang'ethe had been detained pending a ruling on whether he should be extradited to face a first-degree murder charge in connection with the death of Margaret Mbitu on October 31st, 2023. Now, Attorney General Justin Muturi has lifted the lead on how important decisions concerning his docket, like appointments of senior officers and bills finding their way to Parliament, are made without his approval. While making pitch for his office to be independent, Muturi said that the Public Service Commission has been making appointments of senior officers in his office without his knowledge. Speaking when he appeared before the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee to defend decision to amend the Statute Law Miscellaneous Amendment Bill 2023, Muturi revealed that his staff are demoralized, and this has affected the implementation of services at the state office. The bill currently before the National Assembly seeks to create a board for the state law office that is assumed will make it more independent.
For instance, a gentleman who works at State House, but he was appointed by the Public Service Commission to the level of Senior Deputy Solicitor General. The current Chief of Staff in the office of the Deputy President is a Senior Deputy Solicitor General. I'm making my case why it is important for me to delink from the Public Service Commission, and this committee and Parliament could agree with me. Give me a board. It is not just in Muturi to sit. I'm not interested to appoint anybody, but a board so as to serve everybody fairly.
The Council of Governors has opposed the national government's proposal directing KRA to start collecting taxes on behalf of county governments. The chairperson of the Committee on Finance and Economic Planning in the Council of Governors, Fernandez Baraza, says the proposal is against the laws of county government management. He said that the governors will not accept the proposal as it aims to degrade the county apart from violating county laws. He added that the county governments have continued to embrace digital collection system that has sealed all the loopholes where money gets lost. And former Mandera South MP Adan Haji Ali Sheikh has been charged with irregularly awarding 51.5 million shillings tender to a hotel which he was purportedly associated with. The ex-MP faces accusations that while serving as the Kwale County Executive Committee member for tourism, he neglected to disclose his connections with Lofta Resort Limited. The hotel had reportedly been pre-qualified and granted contracts to provide accommodation and conference services to the Kwale County government on various occasions from May 10, 2013 to May 2017. Further investigations by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission revealed that Haji, his wife Fatuma Ibrahim Broba, and son Ali Bashir Adan Khalif were registered as directors of Lofta Resort Limited, which received the said sum from Kwale County. And the National Lands Commission risks losing its enormous powers over the management of land in the country. This if the government succeeds in pushing through a number of amendments to existing land laws. Should the executive succeed in stripping the NLC of its mandate, then the same powers will be vested in the Lands Cabinet Secretary. Lawmakers have approved the publication of a bill on land buying firms that, if passed, will widen the reach of government's hand into land dealing companies who will be compelled to pay 500 million shillings as licensing fees before they are cleared for registration. And two suspected Al-Shabaab terrorists charged with planning to bomb the Milimani law courts in 2018 were found guilty. The pair, Abaji Majid Hassan Adan and Mohammed Osman Nane, were convicted of 9 counts related to the act. Senior Principal Magistrate Zainabu Abdul found the two guilty of possessing improvised explosive devices, including 7 projectile bombs, to commit a terrorist act. The duo, who are among the 6 suspects arrested in Merthi 2018 while transporting weapons to orchestrate the attack, were also found guilty of possessing 36 hand grenades and 5 specified firearms. This is Newswire. I'm Dennis Asada. Good morning.
It's critical that people pay taxes. But then taxation has to have a limit. When you start overtaxing people beyond certain limit, then this is now we call robbery with violence.
We are all struggling, but we don't show. If you're not doing well, shame on you. But you have to say, I'm broke and I'm struggling. We are not okay until everybody is okay.
We are pretending to have political parties. Why don't we just be honest? And we say, these are the Luyas, these are the Kambas, these are the Kikuyus, and we find ourselves in Kenya.
You know, with politics and leadership, no matter what you do, there will always be a complaint. There will always be the assumption that you're either stealing or you're not doing things right. As a leader, don't fear. If you know you're doing the right thing, you've thought about it, you've got an expert advice, do it, then understand later.
This country, we don't need prayers. Prayers is between you and God. Good governance and thinkers who care about the country and not their stomach.
That's what we need.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
94.4 Spice FM.
Crazy. Well, on Limuru Road it is, as you're getting towards Muthaiga and then towards Muthaiga Square on that side, and then Limuru Road connecting into Parklands on the other side. So whichever way you are going in, might be met with some traffic. Still heavy as you're coming through Survey through towards the CBD. There's some traffic as you get towards Ngara and then over the Globe Cinema overpass. That's busy. Uhuru Highway through and through is busy. So also looking at Jogo Road, touching on Landis a little bit, getting towards Kamkunji at the roundabout. All of this pretty busy, but we're getting out of traffic hour in no time. We will talk on SpiceFM KE on X. Hashtag the Situation Room.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
How are you doing? On to the final hour of The Situation Room. It's the day for love. And tonight, everybody will be at Sarit, your city, at Parking C. For the what?
For the Elegance in Love cocktail dinner. It's happening today. Have you bought your tickets? If you have not, there's still a remedy for you. You can go to ticketsasa.com and buy your tickets. Will you go alone? 3,000 shillings. Will you go with someone? 5,500 shillings. Will you go with somebody who thinks they are very special? 10,000 shillings. So you can have that all done, and then we want you to dress up in burgundy and gold. Those are the two colors. Those are the themes for the day. Did you have a plan? You didn't. I'm giving you the ultimate plan. Because then they'll be crooning by the wonderful Wahoo and Nameless, and they will be crooning love ballads tonight. And so it'll be a wonderful evening of great food, great entertainment, music. It'll be a spicy affair. So get into it and let's enjoy as love is in the air and such things.
Kabisa, senor. Very, very good. Our guest for the next hour is Frederick Okango. He is the Secretary of Political Affairs for KANU, the political party. Fred, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Welcome to the hot seat of The Situation
Room. Should we say Happy Mid-New Year or Happy?
It's not mid. It is New Year.
No.
Have we met? This year?
This year we haven't met.
Then it's Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Simbo. It is as simple as that. Savos.
When you approach past February, Eric, you always say now, just say good morning.
So what do you want us to say now? Happy Easter. Happy Lent.
Happy February. Happy Valentine.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Well,
that too. That too. And actually now you're talking about Valentine and appreciation of love. This guy was the first guest that we hosted on The Situation Room.
Absolutely.
4 years ago. So when we started the show, we had our conversations, and then one day we decided,
let's bring in someone. Let's
start talking. And Fred was our first person.
That was very good. And I appreciate it.
Kabisa. Hata Ednah wakupigia makofi.
I'm a loyal listener and viewer of The Situation Room, even if the discussion don't go in our favor. And now I mean our political formation as Azimio.
Right.
But always you have done a good job.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate it.
What does it mean by a discussion going in your favor?
As a politician, I mean the content of that discussion to be perceived to be favoring us out there. And that is the beauty of politics. Any discussion, if it doesn't favor you, then you're not in it.
Kabisa. So let me give you the day's proverb. It's from Angola, this week's proverb. City is not here today, but he told me when Frederick comes, give him this proverb and ask him for his interpretation. The squirrel does not talk back to the elephant.
Repeat it.
The squirrel does not talk back to the elephant.
Okay. The squirrel is a very small animal. The elephant is a big animal. In my own interpretation, the young should respect the old. That's the elementary interpretation I would give it. I think so.
The young should respect the old.
Absolutely.
Now that KANU is the oldest political party in this country.
You know where he's going with him.
Baba Yao.
I mean,
So all these other parties should respect KANU.
Do you know where we have come from?
They have actually tried. And you know, people never leave KANU. No one ever leave KANU. Even Ruto has never left. Raila has never left KANU.
What does that mean?
Kalonzo Musyoka has never left KANU. KANU had a philosophy.
Uhuru has never left KANU.
No, he will never leave. And they live with that philosophy.
Which is?
Peace, love, and unity.
Was that KANU's philosophy or was that Moi's philosophy?
Moi was KANU and KANU was Moi.
Can't separate one from the other.
No, you cannot.
What is the ideology of KANU?
Our ideology is on three fronts. One, protection and strengthening of devolution. Number two, we also believe in fighting corruption. And number three, we believe in social justice.
KANU fighting corruption.
Has always fought corruption.
You know, I'm going with that. Just don't worry. Now, we invited you so we can ask whether those who are on the opposition side, those who are not in the leadership, the current political leadership of the country in terms of governance, have a voice. And whether their voice is loud enough to counter that of those in government. Here we're talking about Kenya Kwanza and then the other formations outside, right? We see Kenya Kwanza leadership talking, saying this is what we are doing. We are doing this in the full implementation of our manifesto that we promised Kenyans, and there's a reason why they voted us into office. We are approaching this way. And then sometimes the citizens themselves feel, no, even though we may have voted for you, but this is not what we had in mind. And then they expect that their leaders in the other political formations would now come out and amplify their voice. Do you feel that the opposition is doing that job?
Thank you, Eric. First of all, I think we need to put some things into perspective.
Perspective number one.
When you talk about opposition in the current structure of government, there's no opposition. In fact, if there's opposition, the opposition is parliament itself. The reason I'm saying that is because the provisions of law are such that the member of parliament has got some constitutional duty in oversight. They oversight national funds and their expenditure. They oversight state organs, and they oversight state officers, and also initiate process of their removal. And to that extent, every member of parliament, whether you are Azimio, Kenya Kwanza, independent, you are bound by constitutional provisions to oversight the government of the day. However, for us in Azimio, having not formed government, I've seen the media always report my coalition party leader Raila Odinga. They report Azimio leader or opposition leader, just because he is not in government. So I'll give you the benefit of doubt that you are referring to those who are not in government as opposition.
I explained it that way.
But the expectation is that the members of parliament are supposed to do the oversight job. And I'll answer you. I strongly believe that for us who are not in government, we have done the very best. If you look at our performance from the time election ended and to date, we have managed to raise certain issues of concern to the people. And some of those issues have found themselves in court. Some of them have found themselves on the floor of the House, the bicameral House. And some of them have made a very big discourse out there. I'll give you an example. Remember the G2G. You remember the issue of our policemen going to Haiti. You remember the issue of KEMSA. You remember the issue of oil. All those scandals were brought to the media through the discussion that we started, and we gave it out there. On the floor of the parliament, we have a very strong, suitable and capable leader of minority. And when I say that, I mean Opiyo Wandayi. And if you look at how he has managed to lead the team, and of course rally his colleagues from the opposition, to talk into issues of concern. And I'll give you another example. When Kenya Kwanza brought the Finance Bill 2023, now an act, we opposed it and we gave reasons. We even gave alternative to that. So our performance has been impressive, if I would say. However, we could do more. We could do more. And I'm saying that with a lot of respect because we know the people of Kenya are hurting. And the expectation from their leaders, irrespective, because today, Kenyans have lost hope in this regime, including those they called hustlers, Mama Mboga, Mkokoteni. They have lost hope. The churches, most of them who supported this regime are saying we were duped. So everyone is looking at those who are outside government for help. They cry to Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka every day. So there's a lot of pressure on those who are outside government to secure the lives of Kenyans. And that's why I'm saying there's more to be done, even though they have tried.
So who should be in a position of opposition? Because you did, we established, yes, Parliament at whatever level, Senate or the National Assembly, then does deal with oversight, which we know. And we are saying that it is necessary to have somebody who is going to then come in and check, even outside government. The assumption has always been that the one who doesn't make it into the presidency then automatically fills the position of the opposition. Is that assumption founded in anything, and should it be the case?
That assumption is founded in the previous constitution when we had the leader of official opposition, and it was automatic that that person who lost or became second in the presidential contest fills the gap. But we are in the new Constitution of Kenya 2010 that has given structures of governance, as I've explained. The public expectation is that when you contest election and you lose, whether you become number 10, the public expectation is that you had some vision, you had an agenda, you had a manifesto, and it is in the interest of the public to see that whatever you had find its way somehow. The difficulty is, if you are not in parliament, or if you don't have members in parliament or county assembly, then seeing that vision come to light is very difficult. And that's why the pressure has always been on those who are outside. Like today we are talking about the policies of, Kenya Kwanza. They have brought some policies that in our view are heartless and reckless. Things like affordable housing. We had affordable housing in our manifestos as a MIO. They have it today. But we have said their implementation mechanism, something that the courts have agreed with us, and even to that extent declared it's unconstitutional and cited a lot of irregularities. We are saying that for them to implement it, there must be certain aspect of legal framework. They have to create certain measures to ensure that it is not discriminative and so on and so forth. So what we are saying is we can only speak from outside, while we can also urge our members of parliament in the floor to contribute to that and make amendments, if possible, that are pro the people, that also can see, can help us have the views that we had in our manifesto see light of the day at that end. So the issue of opposition being outside parliament is equally important as it being in parliament. And that's why we would appreciate the people of Kenya who think beyond parliament and become active citizens, not only in members of parliament, even yourselves outside there, anyone.
Another forum.
Civil society, active citizens, and so on and so forth. So it's not only about politicians. It's about every Kenyan who believes that they must put the government of the day to be accountable, and so on and so forth.
Do you think they need a leader? Do you think usually we find that people might be of like mind, there are things that are coming up and they say, well, this doesn't make sense. I want to speak, but I feel that, my voice is not loud enough. Do you think that all of these need to be brought together in concert by somebody who would lead that opposition?
I strongly believe so, because, when you're a group of people and you speak from different platforms and you speak the same thing, chances are very high that you'll be disorganized. You'll not be coordinated.
Yeah.
And therefore, it is important that they converge at some point and speak from a point of convergence where their voice can be even louder. And that reminds me, you know, when the election ended, there were people who argued that, and particularly Kenya Kwanza, they argued that, you know, we cannot have somebody who goes for a contest and becomes number 2 with more than half of the country or half the country outside, just making noise in the streets. We must find a way of structuring how this guy or this person is going to engage the public. And then they proposed in the report, if you remember, the opposition, leader of official opposition. And then the NADCO report invited the public, the NADCO committee invited the public to, you know, give their views. You'll be shocked, Eric. Majority of those people, because I was part of the technical team of the National Dialogue Committee, majority of the people who appeared before that committee actually agreed that, wait a minute, it's actually important to have a structure of governance where the person who, or the coalition or political formation that becomes second, that garners the second largest number of votes, nominates a leader who becomes the leader of official opposition. And therefore, all these voices rally around him to put the government into check. Something that we agree with, even though it was the idea from the other side. So I agree when you say that when we look at the performance of opposition, maybe we need to start looking at it not only within Parliament, but also from outside.
From outside Parliament.
Yes.
How should it be structured? Let's talk about outside Parliament, okay? Because we have all these other voices. We have the civil society organizations. We've got religious organizations, well, part of civil society. We've got the media. We've got citizens in various fora and various groupings. How should their civic engagement be organized? Should we let it be organic? Should it have a structure where they feed into?
I've always believed that being an active citizen is very important. And there's a constitutional principle in this country that is called participation of the people. If you look at every aspect of involving the people, when the government involves the people, they always require the participation of the people. And a lot of cases have been lost by the government of the day in court because of lack of citizen involvement and engagement. Now, I think the starting point would be, how do people participate in how they are governed? Then now it builds to a structured way of participation. Number 2, I also strongly believe that in organizing a working opposition, I keep comparing the Labour Party, how they do their politics. It is structured in a way that the party that consider itself opposition has got partnerships with people outside, the civil society, the religious leaders, the media, and so on and so forth, so that any information that they would want to pass, that information is first owned by the people. And then they become the voice and channel. Then now they articulate it as such. So that one makes work easy, and even it becomes impactful. So people can feel what they are doing and they can hear what they are doing.
Okay. So here we are in the situation whereby so many things are going on in the country at the same time.
Absolutely.
Right? There's a look towards somebody to say, you know what, there's got to be a little bit more agitation, or there's got to be something to push against the grain. The economy is an issue. The cost of living is an issue. It's almost become buzzword now. Folks are saying thing after thing after thing is coming. And at the same time, we do see Azimio saying certain things about certain processes, whether it be IEBC today and the selection of who's going to be there, and then also saying, look, there are certain things that will essentially bring us back to the streets for protests. Is that the way to go? Is that the way that's going to attract the attention for then something to be done?
First of all, let me put it clear that for us in Azimio, we strongly believe in the rule of law, and we believe in this constitution. And that's why when we say the provisions of Article 37 guides all our protests, they are peaceful and they're legal. So if by any means we require our supporters and our people to go to the street, it is a provision in the constitution, and the other side knows that. And we have seen people demonstrate. Even recently you saw peaceful demonstrations during the femicide. I'm sure you guys covered it. You saw demonstrations. So that is something that is there. However, the issues that require discussion, and I mean bipartisan, issues like IEBC. Today, we don't have a commission, and there are certain deadlines that we have to meet. And these deadlines are not only deadlines, they are constitutional deadlines. If they are not met, then we risk getting into a constitutional crisis that will be very costly. I'll give an example. When the elections results, the presidential election results were announced, there were the Chebukati 3 and Cherera 4. The Cherera 4 disputed, and they distanced themselves from those results. They said those are Chebukati results. The Chebukati 3 went ahead and announced Honorable William Ruto as the president. And you know the story. This thing ended up in court, and it was heard and determined by the Supreme Court. And they said it is Ruto. On that basis, we went to the street, and it was a culmination of so many things, cost of living, and all so on and so forth. Today, there was a selection panel. The selection panel was a composition after the amendment of the Election Act, which was largely pushed by Kenya Kwanza. Our people rejected it, and they said it is not inclusive. Then came the consultation and NADCO committee that has made cogent proposals on not only, Eric, to constitute, but to restructure IEBC. And those, I'm sure you have seen those recommendations. We strongly believe that on such issues, we don't even need to fight, but we need to come together and agree that we both need IEBC. And if we both need IEBC, how do we address? For us in Azimio, we believe in a framework of electoral system and a design that is widely accepted by the people of Kenya and all political players. That is what we are pushing for. And that's why you have seen the selection panel has been expanded to allow for inclusivity of all major players in the country.
Hold on to that thought. It's 9:30. Let's take a break. Frederick Okango is the Secretary for Political Affairs for the KANU political party. He's our guest this morning. The voice of opposition. How loud is it? How loud is it? We're calling this the Keringet break. Keringet, own your richness.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
I never knew the pain of cheating on someone until I had been cheated on. Character developed proper.
Sugar and spice. Muki date, please. Musitumie ati your friend kutest loyalty ya boyfriend.
Anaweza pass test.
You know, you hear your parents tell you, it's absolutely true. There's only one Jesus, and it's not your girlfriend or your boyfriend.
If it's fun, it's funky, it's fresh, you're definitely going to catch it here. I don't know what you do every day from 11 a.m. to 3 o'clock. If I were you, I'd tune in to SpiceFM 94.4.
I want you on my team.
So does everybody else.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see where we are as we're coming out of traffic hour. We're still pretty heavy on the Thika Superhighway, but I think we're looking at, that dissipating as you get through the Pangani Tunnel. Also looks better coming off of Limuru Road, so we should be fine. At the overpass at Globe Cinema, also that should work well for now. It's busy on Landis Road, that's getting towards Kamkunji at the roundabout, but then Haile Selassie through and through, cutting across towards incoming traffic from Gong Road is also flowing well at the moment. Shouldn't be an issue. Let's take a quick look at what's going on in Kangundo Road. That was heavy earlier, but that is better now as you get towards Outer Ring. And so coming out of traffic hour, we should be fine through the morning and through the day. Talk to us, SpiceFM KE on X.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4.
Fred Okango, the KANU Secretary for Political Affairs, the role and the voice of the opposition. So as we're talking about now there's matter has been taken to court by a voter who says we feel like we are being discriminated against because we don't have representation in the county assembly or in parliament. Now, we then see that NADCO came out, there was a whole back and forth. Do we sign, do we not sign? Some of your members didn't sign it. Then he said we sign it, Mkono Shingo Pande. It's not gone before Parliament. Parliament just resumed yesterday. It's not been discussed in Parliament and therefore. But then Raila says that court story is Opuzi. What message is that sending?
Eric, I'll tell you. The petitioner who went to court on issue of Banisa by elections had a right, like any other person who feels aggrieved can go to court. But remember, the issues for determination in that petition, NADCO was not part of it. And therefore, we agree with that petitioner. We respect that ruling of the court. However, the issues we are dealing with, the issue of IEBC, is not only legal, but also political. In fact, it is largely political.
What comes first?
I wouldn't say one comes first, but they must be considered equally at the same time. Today, it is the politicians that are going to discuss the NADCO report, or tomorrow in Parliament. They're going to discuss it. Politicians have interest, like any other person. And the interest that they carry should also be the interest of the public. And that's why the provision such that they represent the interest of the people, address issues of concern, and resolve them. So the concern of the majority who appeared before the NADCO said that we would want a commission that is not only reconstituted, but also restructured. The High Court decision is a decision that can only allow for reconstitution of IEBC. Because they have ordered the selection panel to proceed and produce the names and send them to the president for appointment. However, the people of Kenya, who the judiciary have delegated duty, have said, we want it reconstituted, yes, but also restructure it. And that's why, if you look at the recommendation from NADCO, the recommendation that are largely speaking into restructuring, right from the qualification of who becomes a member of the commission, to the amendment of the constitution to provide for verification and declaration of the results, and to look at the issues of the secretariat as a whole. That means
how long do you give that process?
That process, the period has been recommended in the committee report, and it says once the commission is formed, once the panel is formed, within 90 days, they shall complete the job of recruitment.
Okay.
In my view, if tomorrow, for example, the members of parliament from both sides agree, as they have agreed, our minority leader has sent the strongest signal ever that we shall discuss that. Ichungwa, the majority leader from the other side, has sent the same. Aaron Cheriot, the same. And if they agree and we go and discuss this report, adopt it, and we go into the implementation, then we could have a commission in place by probably latest June.
June?
Yes.
That's 4 months from now.
Remember, in the previous years, we have had commissions in place even a year to election. This time, we do have time.
No. Did we have a vacancy, an entire vacancy of a commission? No, we had a quorum issue.
But
so are you telling the people of Banisa that until June you shall stay like that. That's when the new
That's not what we are saying.
commission shall come into
That's
place.
not what we are saying, Eric.
After the commission then is constituted, it then takes time to organize that election, and it's given out 90 days to organize an election. So another 3 months before the people of Banisa can go to the polls.
Eric, I started by saying we respect the rights of the people of Banisa to go to court because they are aggrieved. And they have done that, and they have gotten a favorable order. That's okay. But looking at this in a large scale, you realize that even if we are to reconstitute that IBC today and now, they will not meet the constitutional deadline of electoral delimitation.
Yes.
They'll not meet it. It is late. So that calls for being creative and innovative. And in being creative and innovative, Parliament must decide that because we need the commission in place now and not tomorrow, how do we deal with other pending issues together with Banisa? The surest way is to reconstitute and start restructuring and look at any other pending issues. I'll give you an example. Why is it that today, as we speak, the commission, the Nelson Makanda-led team, the selection panel, even after the court ordered them to proceed, they have not gone ahead to publish the names of the shortlisted, because they understand even themselves from where they come from that this is an issue that is more political than legal, and there are consequences of not following what the Kenyans want. The Kenyans want a restructured and a reconstituted.
What informs this want that we are saying that's Kenyans across board who want it? Because what we hear, unfortunately, is the voice of politicians in terms of what they want. What informs it that it is Kenyans who have seen that this IEBC, in the way that it is structured and constituted, is flawed and would now want, going forward, to restructure the entire thing? What informs that desire?
What informs the desire of restructuring and reconstitution is the participation of the public in the NADCO committee. Then the outcome of the presidential election 2022. For the people of Kenya to heal, for the people of Kenya to forget, for the people of Kenya to move forward into the next contest in 2027, having agreed that we are moving forward, we must sort out the mess in 2022 by having a commission that complies with the general principle of electoral system, accountability, simplicity, transparency. All those require restructuring. And that's why I started by saying, if our elections, Eric, are largely technological, and the qualifications of a commissioner, there's no professional qualification that touches on ICT or accounting, there's a problem. Number two, the other issue is that the chair of the commission, IBC commission, currently must be a person who is qualified to be a judge of the Supreme Court, while the role that person does is managerial and administrative. So why would we limit? So Kenyans said we would want that amended. Kenyans say bring the qualification of ICT and accountant. Kenyans said we don't want a secretary of the commission that can oversee several elections. We just want him to see, or her to oversee just one election. So 3 years term, only you're eligible for reappointment once.
So the IEBC CEO should only do one election out.
In the current recommendation, it appears that is what will happen if that report is adopted.
Okay. Should the group of people who will still, by and large, be involved in the process of selection, which is an election, also then be involved when it comes to the selection of the individuals who will oversee said contest?
I didn't get your question quickly.
Should politicians be involved when it comes to the selection of the IEBC? Because essentially we're talking about the referee over a game where they will also be participants.
Well, you know, some of the most successful elections in other countries or jurisdictions have been because of the process of putting in place the electoral commission or the electoral body. And I'm speaking because this is what the people said. The people feel, and particularly because election is a largely political process, the expansion of the selection panel allows political players not only to participate, but also to feel that they have participated. And that's why if you look at the recommendation of giving opportunity to political, what's called PPLC, Political Party Liaison Committee, to present 3 representatives in the selection panel. Then you give PALSCOM another opportunity to present 2. You give LSK, interreligious leaders, and also you give ISPAC. Then it is a more inclusive process, even though looked as political, but more inclusive. In any case, the election is a political process. So, in my view, I think it is important that you involve political players in this because they are the participants of the process. If they don't agree with it, then what is it?
Hasn't that been the issue all this time? That there's been over-involvement on both sides. And really, it doesn't really matter which side it is here. Because we seem to always be able to point fingers at or dictate or be said to be seen to dictate what these individuals then do as an independent commission. So when you do have that, we've heard it before, that depending on which side of the competition you are on, then you hold or you reserve the right to then be able to complain against this commission by virtue of the fact that you were there in terms of its selection. So do we not see a situation whereby there is an insistence on being involved in the process for the element of control?
You see, the selection principles are that they shall be based on the suitability, competency, and personal integrity.
According to?
The Constitution.
Okay.
That is what is there. So the panel that is being put in place, they will not dictate that it must be, but they will follow certain guidelines as provided for in law. So there's no worry about that. But I can tell you, the best people to do this job are the people that have been recommended, or the clusters that have been recommended by NADCO and by extension Kenyans. Because Kenyans are saying, where is the representative of LSK? Where is the representative of the PALSCOM? Where is the representative of Parliamentary Service Commission?
Why the hell does the Parliamentary Service Commission need to sit in the selection panel?
Even today it is there.
Why? Explain. Why? And that's the question that Ndu is asking. Why do we need politicians selecting who sits?
Eric, I thought maybe you would. I thought maybe you would ask, why do we need a representative of PPLC, Political Party Liaison Committee?
All those. Why do we need? You see, a representative of the Parliamentary Service Commission, Parliamentary Service Commission, is basically somebody who's been elected by politicians, right? Those are elected to sit in the
whose election is it? Whose election is it?
They are elected by politicians to sit in the Parliamentary Service Commission.
And what I'm asking, whose election is it? This election is for the people. Who does that person represent? The politician. The politician represents the people.
Let me tell you something.
Tell me.
Frederick. At the point of election, I, the voter, I am not represented. I express my decision directly, not through representation of anybody. Okay? So the person who sits at the Electoral Commission as a referee should be somebody that I have direct confidence in, not via proxy. Eric. Of a guy who has come here and told me, please pick either me or Fred
Eric.
or...
Eric, I'll remind you.
Let's just go with the principle first, right? So if we say that we are populating the Electoral Commission with a representative of the Parliamentary Service Commission, a representative of the political parties liaison, whatever, a representative of the Law Society of Kenya, a representative of who else again?
We are not populating the commission. We are populating the panel.
The panel, yes.
But let me ask you, Eric.
Because the conversation here, basically, the thrust of this question is the reason for even expanding the selection panel.
Eric, the principles of governance and national values dictate that we must be inclusive. If you look at the selection panel as it is today, it is less inclusive. Inclusive of who? Inclusive of the representatives of the people. Inclusive of the stakeholders. Less inclusive of stakeholders. And you cannot dismiss the recommendation of the people. When you said when you go into an election, you are not represented. But the moment you cast your ballot and somebody is elected, Eric, you are now represented.
Moving forward.
Yes, you are now represented. And that person that represents you has been given that mandate by the Constitution. And they say they speak on your behalf. We cannot have 45 million Kenyans sitting at the selection panel, but we can have their representatives. How do we have their representative perform this role? Look at organized bodies and institutions that look like representation and then pick from there. That is the aspect of inclusivity. In fact, that is the principle of inclusivity. You pick from different quarters to represent the people.
The recommendation by NADCO, please tell me, the members of the IBC selection panel.
LSK, 1 member.
LSK.
Interreligious leaders, 2 members.
Religious.
PPLC, 3.
Political
1 non-parliamentarian, 2 one from minority, 1 from majority.
Political parties liaison.
PALSCOM.
Parliamentary Service
Yes,
Commission.
1 minority, 1 majority.
That's it.
Yes.
Who
That's
represents, where do the youth come in? Where do the persons with disability come in?
Now I'll tell you.
Where do interest groups like business associations come in?
Exactly.
Because all these are representatives of the people in one way or another. Where do persons with disability come in? Where do women come in? Where do marginalized and pastoralist communities come in?
So let me
where do those
religious groups come in?
They're there.
They're there. Religious are there. Where do all these other interest groups come in?
If we're talking about whole representation.
Eric.
Where do the people of Tana River come in?
The people of Tana River are represented by extension from all those bodies. They are PPLC members and so on. But I want to answer your question this way. That recommendation also takes care of the constitutional principle of not more than 2/3. And therefore the women are represented. However,
so women politicians will be representing women interests.
The recommendation says that all the nominating bodies must adhere to that. Then ISPAC.
Why the LSK? Why not accountants?
Accountants are there, Eric.
Why not engineers?
Accountants are there.
Where?
Accountants are represented. ISPAC. They have got a member.
Oh, you didn't say ISPAC.
No, they have a member.
You didn't say
ISPAC.
Okay.
LSK. Interreligious groups, PALSCOM, PPLC, all of them have members there. But you'll realize that it is only in the political field where members cut across. The PPLC have representation in the youth. They have representation ethnic minority. They have representation of the people with disability. They have all that. The professional organizations like LSK, ISPAC, they have that. And let me tell you, this is a good step, Eric. While we cannot have everyone, because it means we shall have a panel that has got 25 or 60. It is no longer a selection panel. That will be a tea-taking party.
How do you rid, right? How do you rid minds of speculation, Fred? Whereby we say, the only reason... Think about it like this and try just for a minute to bring yourself above and look down on this thing, right? If you can for a minute pretend that you're not part of Azimio or Kenya Kwanza, whatever. So above that speculation, in the minds of folks who say, the reason why both sides want to be very sure that they are involved in the selection of this panel, who essentially is going to select the people who will referee an election in the future, is so that their interests can be protected. Rid us of that speculation. How can we see it differently?
We can't see it differently.
We can't.
And I agree with you.
Yeah.
But remember, politics is about interest. My interest, your interest, and his interest makes the politics of the day.
But unfortunately, it will take a negative tinge. You know why? Because there again is a speculation that I will then be able to persuade an individual who sits on that commission in one way or another. Look at how we've described these people today. The Cherera 4 and the Chebukati 3. Already, we describe them in that manner. What does that tell you? That perhaps somebody used their power to then be able to make a thing go in a certain direction because of where their interests lie.
Not necessarily true.
Remove the speculation. Come on, Fred. Come on.
Let me give you direct
seriously
speculation.
speaking.
Wafula Chebukati was picked by Raila. Direct speculation. Isaac Hassan was picked by Raila. Both were dumped by Raila.
Recommended.
Okay.
Yeah.
Recommended.
Recommendedly picked. Recommended by Raila. Remove that speculation. So Raila wants to have a say on the next chairperson.
I wouldn't think so.
Because
I wouldn't think so.
Because the converse has been said. The converse is not speculation. Raila has said that Ruto, with this current selection panel, is picking who is going to be the next chairperson.
Because that selection panel as it is not inclusive enough. And therefore, Raila Amolo Odinga knows that with that, then it's likely to be skewed. So expand it to also represent other people that are outside it. And that's why the recommendation, which Kenya Kwanza also agrees with.
So that he can have a say.
There's nothing wrong with Raila having a say. Raila is a Kenyan.
So that he can recommend, if you take chairman, then I take vice.
Yeah, so that I can have my guy on the inside. And we're using Raila as an example, but the truth of the matter, it could be anybody. That the reason why you want to have a say is that look, having your guy, we do it all the time. It's human nature. Come on. But then we're looking at something whereby it has previously thrown folks into this terrible, cycle of negative feelings when it comes to an election. Having your guy on the inside, Fred, if I say it like that, what does it mean?
Having your guy.
No. Honestly, answer my question. When I tell you, I have a problem, Fred, then you tell me, don't worry. I have a guy on the inside. Come on. What does that mean?
Okay, I don't want us to look at it that way. But listen, whether the guy is somebody's guy, but what is the process of this guy arriving at being a commissioner? He must be subjected to some form of competition. He must be subjected to some form of competition that will reveal his or her suitability, competency, capability, and even personal integrity. And therefore, that person's guy then is qualified. Then, when on that seat, then the guy is guided by he takes an oath of office, guided by the principles of the Constitution and the regulations of the Commission. Okay? So I'm not very worried about that. But what I'm worried about is going and picking a panel that will pick a selective commission that knows very well that the other side of the political divide did not participate. And that can even be dangerous. It can even lead to boycott of election because they will say, this is not the representative of the people. We don't know them. They are strangers in this commission. We shall go and form our own commission. Those threats have been there and we cannot take them lightly. And that's why I'm happy when Kenyans come out and say, wait a minute, there's a selection panel, yes. How was that selection panel selected? Okay, it was skewed. Or for some two reason, we did not participate. Why don't we have now a participatory selection panel that everyone, every Kenyan, every institution feels represented? So when you look at it, it might look like my guy is there, we'll do this, but on a broader way,
that doesn't really cure a big problem.
What is the problem?
Let's just look at this past IEBC.
Yes.
The Chebukati 3 was selected after a rigorous process that involved formation of a committee that was chaired by Orengo.
They went through the process, yes.
Blah, 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 they were in office. The Cherera 4 were picked by Uhuru and Raila's constituted and participation, of course, let's say. There was a new reconstitution of the panel that picked the Cherera 4.
Yes.
In the end, those that had been recruited rigorously are the ones we are burning at the stakes and saying this man should not even be a Kenyan anymore. This
You know why? Because the role of the commissioner or the commission and the chair of the commission was not differentiated.
Okay.
Today, as we speak, the recommendation is such that it has provided for what is the role of the commission in verifying the presidential vote in an election, and what is the role of the chair in declaring such votes. That is clear. And that was the contest between Cherera 4 and Chebukati 3. Number 2, there's an issue of qualification. A member of electoral commission has got qualification that has been stipulated in the IBC Act 2011 and the Constitution. However, we understand that the election in Kenya is more technological. In fact, to make it even easy, it requires almost all forms of professional qualifications to be representative to be in it. So, the people felt that let's have, number 1, an ICT guy, because the ICT was an issue. Then let's have an accountant. And that's why you realize even ISPAC now is participating in the panel so that they can identify somebody who has got those qualifications. So I wouldn't want to trivialize it as such and make it look like, we politicians are pushing for our own to be there, so that that cannot make you win an election. Even if you are to have the chair of election to be your sister, it cannot. When Kenyans decide, they'll decide. But Kenyans want a commission that is believable, a commission that is widely accepted, a commission that is all representative, what we call wholesome. Okay?
Tumekusikia.
Asante.
Fred, come again soon. Always a pleasure having you
Thank
here.
you so much, and I appreciate all this.
Frederick Okango is the Secretary for Political Affairs in KANU. He is one of the leading lights in Azimio Coalition. We've been talking about the voice of the opposition. Thank you very much for tuning into the Situation Room today. We wish you some lovely day. Those who will be turning up, showing up at dinner, enjoy. Salimia wahuna nameless sana. Waambie tunawapenda. We'll be there though. Come on. It's just burgundy.
Interestingly,
and gold.
Eric is not in red.
Burgundy, boss. Burgundy. It's for dinner.
You're supposed to have, Mr. Lava, you should have worn red.
For dinner.
That's what Fred is trying to say.
For dinner. Have a lovely day, people. It's 10
Thank you.
a.m.
Thank you.
Spice up your life